I picked to the Krueg show where Dan Coccimilgio, Smith, Ryan is in the house. Danny is, I think Danny's on a date. I think Danny's on a big date tonight. Send him a thing on his phone. It's his birthday. He's the birthday boy. Happy 85th to Dan Coccimilgio. Oh, no, we're just joking. He's not 85. But happy birthday to Dan Coccimilgio, and he's out with his lovely bride, I'm sure. Or maybe he's got a little side piece that he's out with. Who knows? Might have been one of those women that
Yes.
from the HOA. You never know with Danny. I mean, could have had a big HOA. Who knows why he's on that HOA? I mean, well, there he is. Look at that guy right there. I was just saying, happy birthday, Danny. We were about to say you were out on the town with your old lady, but then I said, or he could have picked up somebody from the HOA. I mean, it could have been an HOA situation. Who knew? That looked like a pretty jamming little party going on there in the HOA.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the other room. I stepped in the other room here, so I'm out. But I'll be.
Are you getting down? Are you getting down right now?
Yeah, I'll have to step back.
Look at you.
You guys are going to be going. I know we got our NFL picks tonight, right?
You're kind of at an angle right now. You're looking a little sweaty.
Yeah, it's a little. There we go.
Scott Van Pelt, everyone.
Yeah,
Scott Van Pelt joining us. People say we don't get big guests. We got Scott Van Pelt. Scotty, good to see you. Let's talk bad beats.
Very good. Good to see you too. And I got some bad beats for you tonight.
There you go. All right, so Danny, what is your special circumstances here? I have one friend who always has special circumstances. It's like we call him special circumstances Sam. It's like literally he's always got some special thing. Like, I can meet you guys, but I've got to leave early because I can go to the thing, but I need to get a special ride home. I can go to the golf round, but if somebody could take my clubs back to their car, I mean, seriously, there's always some special circumstance. What is your schedule tonight, Mr. Coccimilgio?
Well, I should be out of here in about an hour. I'll head home, and I'll probably, you guys should still be on probably about 10:15, 10:30. I should be back.
All right. Gonzo, he's smashing a golden oldie he met at the shuffleboard.
Yeah.
All right. Are you smashing tonight, Danny? Are you smashing?
No.
No. Okay, just making sure.
I mean, that does sound like a porn premise for porn for 65 and ups. Sexy man takes his shirt off at the HOA meeting and turns into
bow chicka bow wow, bow chicka bow wow. We thought we were talking roofs, and then suddenly we weren't.
Hey, I'll be back. If I had a big giant fork, I could use it again for tonight. Put a fork further deeper.
Don't ruin your best material in this little brief encounter at the beginning.
Yeah.
Don't fire your best shot here. Yeah. Wait till you rejoin us later tonight.
Yeah, I'll be back. And
Justin Kerwin, does Dan have pants on? Is the real question. Oh, look at that! The cargo pants, cargo shorts with zippers. Are those cargos with zippers?
No,
I like to imagine Dan brings 7 snacks with him on the date in his cargo.
Oh, here we go. A little more.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah, sweet. Cargo.
Oh, look at that. Don't act like it's the pleats. Don't act like you're not impressed. All right, Danny. We will catch up with you later.
And I'll have some good material when I get home.
Yeah, we'll decide if that's good material. All right, we're taking him out of the stream. All right, Danny smashing at an Easy 6 motel in the Greater Mesa area. All right, so we will visit with Coccimilgio in a little bit. Giants lose 7-4. If you say 7-4, that really looks bad. It was worse. They were down 7-0, and then came from behind and got 4 meaningless runs. What'd you think, Rye? I mean, just Wood didn't have it. Giants seem like they're just kind of that last couple games against Arizona at home, man. It just, I don't know.
They're dead.
It feels like they're circling the drain.
Yeah, they're officially dead. I mean, the good news is that There's plenty of gambling opportunities to bet against the Giants. I did tonight. I bet against them in the series. Bet against them in the first 5 innings in the whole game. I think that like this is a dead team that take advantage of the prices while you can.
Brewers lost. Padres are tied with Washington in the 6th. That's a 3-3 ball game, Pirates and Washington.
Yeah.
So we'll keep our eye on that one. But yeah, I mean, what
put
can
us out
we
of
say?
our misery.
Yeah. Blake Snell against Espino tonight in San Diego. And let's see what's the deal there. Machado got a double to deep right to score Soto and Profar to tie the game in the 5th after Ruiz had an RBI single to put the Nationals up 3-1 in the 5th. Manny Machado with the double to deep right, and you got a 3-3 ball game. But let's be honest. I mean, come on. We talked about this last night. The Giants aren't catching anybody. They once again led off Lamont Wade, who's hitting 190. 190. He's in the leadoff spot. That's so unbelievable. Brandon Belt's so done right now. He's just 216, 0 for 4 again tonight. Longo needs to retire, 0 for 4 tonight with 2 strikeouts. Tommy LaStella, maybe he's retired, but he just is waiting for the buyout. He went 0 for 2. Joey Bart went 0 for 3. Peterson, what can you say about Jock Peterson? He goes deep, his 18th home run of the year, his first home run in eternity. But then he comes up in the 7th in a big situation, and he strike out?
Yep.
So, the Giants, what can you say? I mean, what can you say about the Giants? They don't really have enough. Wood give up 7 and 4 2/3. Typical Coors Field outing. Alex Young, through shutout relief, as did Tyler Rogers, as did Dominic Leone. It's like when the game's out of reach, those guys are money. But
as far as I'm concerned, this is
in a close game, you can't depend on them.
Yeah, this is tryouts, right? I mean, Alex Young, look, you keep pitching like that, hey, you might have a spot on the roster next year. Looks like Belt's ready to hang him up, and Lamont Wade is. I mean, what are you doing? You're just not putting him in a position to succeed or look good.
What happened to the talk last night that we were talking about? Elliot Ramos was going to be activated and he was going to be in Denver. Why do they keep teasing us with Elliot Ramos?
What's the point? Yeah, what is the point? I mean, and also it's like if you're going to put Lamont or if you're going to play Elliot Ramos, I don't know, maybe pinch hit him when you're down 7-0 in Coors. Does that sound like a good idea? No.
MF says we need Greg Papa back on the pre and post game show. Will that do it, MF? Ousting Carlos Ramirez and Laura Britt. Will that turn the Giants' fortunes around? They put Papa on the pre and post and they went on a run. It was unbelievable. DJ Venus. Giants can't do diddly poo offensively. I haven't said diddly poo. I got to work diddly poo more into my vernacular. I feel like I don't have it in me to do diddly poo. You know what I mean? I don't like diddly and I don't like poo. So it's like diddly poo. It's not attractive to me, but I feel like other people say it and they get like a laugh out of it. They can't do diddly poo. People are like,
I've never even heard diddly poo.
If I say diddly poo, people are like, Krug, you all right? You can be okay?
If I say it, I'm muted.
Yeah, you're muted. You're absolutely muted. But for DJ Venus, he can say diddly poo. He's a club member.
Hey, Ford Proctor hit a home run tonight.
Did he?
Yeah.
I love a good Ford Proctor. Seriously, you get it with under 10,000 miles with a leather interior. It's absolutely nails. I got my Ford Proctor. I got my Ford Proctor up on 2 wheels last Thursday night. It's coming around a corner, and I'm like, man, I stepped on the gas. I leaned into it, and my Proctor went up on 2 wheels. It was really something. DJ Venus, Larry, please go off on the Giants. Enough is enough. Oh man, what can you say?
Do you even have enough
what can you
in you?
say?
I'm trying to find like the most positive thing I can on the SF Giants Reddit page. That's how I saw the Ford Proctor home run.
My TV set right now tuned into Comcast Sports California, whatever it is, Sports Bay Area, says Lamont Wade Jr. is getting his swagger back. What? Who the hell? What does that mean? Somebody please explain to me what that means. Because if it means he sucks, then I guess you're right. Otherwise, what does that mean? He's getting his swagger back.
He went
my
0 for
God.
3.
He's hitting 190.
Oh my God.
And he's leading off. He's not getting anything back. The only thing we're getting back is our the indigestion that we get watching this team. Romo 2001. Larry's been going off in the Giants for quite a while. Yeah, exactly. I've gone off. I've been off.
You've been off. Oh, you know what? I got another positive, or at least an interesting thing. So I guess last night, for the second time in MLB history, Mike Yastrzemski came into a game as a pinch runner, got picked off, and then. Oh wait, what is it? Wait, GIDP?
Game-ending double play.
Oh, and then game-ending double play in his only plate appearances.
Yeah.
There we go. That's some history last night.
It's been a rough one for Yaz. What's he hitting? Yaz is another guy. He's not hitting. 211. Wow. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, think about this outfield. Is there ever been a worse outfield than this outfield? Lamont Wade's hitting 190. Austin Slater never comes through in the clutch. He's hitting 267. Jock Peterson hit his first home run in like 2 months. He's hitting 254, which looks like a batting champion compared to the rest of these guys. Yaz went 0 for 2. He did have a couple walks, but 211 from your outfielder. Their DH, Tommy LaStella, 243. And what has LaStella done for production this year? He's got 1 home run for Rye, 1 home run for me. So there you go. He's got 2 home runs, 1 for each of us.
What if I was to tell you that the Giants, the highest batting average of any of the Giants starters tonight was 255?
Who's raking at 255 right now?
That'd be Wilmer Flores.
Wilmer Flores, come on down. Willie Mack Award winner, maybe. Give him the Willie Mack.
Seriously.
Wow. Giants right now. Giants. MF says, is Grant McCray legit? I did see that Grant McCray's got like 30 homers and was it 30 and 20 or something like that in A-ball?
Yeah.
It's A-ball though. It's like, what? I've got that rule, MF, that says I don't want to hear anything about any of these Giant prospects until they go to Double-A and do well. If you go to Double-A and you do well, we can talk about you. If you have not gone to Double-A and you haven't done well in Double-A, you know what? I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it because it's like the Giants have, they've had a lifetime of guys who kicked ass in A-ball. Guys who dominated in San Jose, guys who dominated in Clinton, Iowa, guys who dominated the Midwest League. Man, this guy had a rolling for Clinton. Yeah, so what? This guy, he's a Cal League All-Star, baby. Yeah, so what?
And yet only San Jose Giant 2020.
Yeah. So maybe he's coming. Maybe he's coming.
Any athleticism, I'd like if he's suited up in the lineup tomorrow, just a little bit of athleticism.
anything at this point. Bueller, just anybody who can help right now would just be like, get him up here.
I mean, JD Davis looks like a revelation, and it's like
I like JD Davis. He takes a big hack. He plays a pretty good third. He's got a great arm. I mean, I would have made that deal straight up for Ruff, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely, Larry. And I mean, it's like what you when you posed the question yesterday, like if you were an MLB player, would you want to come play for this team? You know what? If I'm like a JD Davis caliber guy who's not getting much run on some team, I'd love to come to the Giants because it's like compared to them, it's like standing next to a bunch of ugly people in a photo. Like you're gonna look great.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you get over here, you beastly looking fool. I need you in my picture. MF, love the Krueg show. What would Ned do in this situation? He'd probably read a few chats and comment a little bit. What situation are we talking about? Oh, you mean if he was Farhan, if he was running the Giants?
Oh my God! I think we've got him.
Yes, no, that's not G-Rad, is it?
I doubt it, but it's a good character.
That is great. That is great. I miss G-Rad, man. I really do. I used to love doing radio with him, man. Nobody brought the energy like Gary Radnich. Seriously, I mean, you can say whatever you want about anything, but I'll tell you, nobody brought energy and could light up a crowd the way that G-Rad could. Did I ever tell you when I came on after Gary at the car show? So listen to this. This is years ago. I'm at the car show at the Moscone Center. By the way, somebody had donated here. I was trying to find it. And there we go. Let me just get this one. Todd Jersey Architecture Incorporated donates $9.99. Larry Bear thinks we just need to play better. I agree with Larry Bear. They need to play better. They need to play better. How could you disagree with that? They couldn't play worse. No, I mean, no, they don't have enough talent. Come on. Do we need to go through? Guys, do we need a refresher course? It's all ball bearings these days. And I just said it. What's the best guy in the lineup hitting 260 or something, right?
Yeah, 255.
The Slater's hitting 267.
Yeah, that's why I caveated it with starters. But
all right. Okay.
A little dishonest.
But I mean, seriously, I mean, the Giants lineup was Wade, Slater, Peterson, Flores, Pelt. That's their top five. So, I mean, I think it's more than they just need to play better. The ownership needs to spend more money. Farhan needs to make better moves. They need to draft better, develop better, trade better, sign better, play better. Does that better make any sense? Probably not.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I got it.
Just do it all, but do it better. No, but so I'm coming on. It was the day before Thanksgiving, and I think it was like Fitz and Pete, where Gary was on by himself, and this is the day when he was by himself before he had any partner, and I was sitting in for Fitz and for Pete. So I was on for like a couple hours. So I was going to be on after Gary. Well, I get to the Moscone Center, and I mean, Gary had this thing going. I mean, he had the dancing girls from, whatever, the Ford, whatever
Proctor.
Were there. They were all there. The Ford Proctor people, they were dancing around and the lights were going. He was on TV and radio. There was all these people gathered around. He's telling jokes. He's pulling people out of the crowd. Mike, I know it's time to break. But, he had the whole thing going. He had the crowd going crazy. He had people coming up on stage. He had, the bodyguard was there. He had all of his people there. I think Johnny might have been there, Johnny X. And he had this packed house, all these people lighting it up, all kinds of energy. And then all of a sudden we go to the break. And the lights go off and the crowd goes away. And it's like, there I am doing a regular sports talk show by myself, getting ready to teasing that I'm going to be talking to Ira Miller in 20 minutes. And it was just like all of the energy, all of the lights from the show, all the people that were standing around, everybody just kind of drifted away and I'm sitting there doing a live radio show and everybody's just kind of walking away. And I remember thinking to myself, hey, wait, come back. We can laugh. We can have fun. I can entertain. It won't be that bad. Don't worry, everybody. The world's not going to end. But that's how big Gary was at that time. And that's how young I was. Yeah. Following the legend, on by yourself, teasing Ira Miller. And I'll still never forget the Ira Miller conversation I had that day. I'm like, because it was, I think, 97. And Dana Stubblefield was like having a year, right? He might have been the defensive player of the year in the league in 1997. And I'm like, Ira, hey, thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. I'm sitting in for Pete and for Bob. And, thanks for coming on and talking a little Niners with me. Yeah, no problem. And then I remember I said, Ira, compare Dana Stubblefield to Michael Carter. Right. And I'm like, I'm so proud of myself because I'm like, oh, Ira's seen Michael Carter and he can talk about what a great nose guard he is. And now he's watching and covering the Niners. They got Dana Stubblefield and he's going to give me some incredible answer and it's going to be awesome. Ira Miller gives me this. Well, Dana Stubblefield is he's good. He's good. And and Michael Carter, Michael Carter was good. They're both good. They're both good. Like that. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm seriously almost wanted to call Agnew. I'm like, we're paying this jackass for Michael Carter's good, Dana Stubblefield's good. I'm like, stop paying this guy. What are you paying Ira Miller for? I got 19 friends sitting in their den right now who could come on and give better analysis than Michael Carter's good, Dana Stubblefield's good. And it's funny because Ira Miller had taken on this kind of wannabe coach, kind of wannabe personnel guy, kind of, he was so close to the team that it was like he prided himself in being like George Seifert. Yeah. Right. So like George Seifert would give you no answer. So then Ira Miller would give you no answer. But we were paying him to come on the radio to talk about the Niners. And all he would give us is this guy's good and that guy's good. And I was just like, I'm thinking to myself. And I remember going back to the office and Agnew was like, how was it? You said it from Franklin today. How was it? I'm like, yeah, it was good, except Ira Miller. Because what about him? Why we're paying that guy, we're paying that guy. I'm like, yeah, I know, Bob. We're paying that guy. He's like, what's wrong? What happened? I go, no, I asked him to compare Michael Carter and Dana Stubblefield. He's like, good question. What'd he say? I'm like, he said Michael Carter was good and Dana Stubblefield was good. He's like, oh, my God, really? Nah. Yeah, that's what he said. Really? It's like seriously, like a month later, we stopped paying him. It was like, get lost, Ira Miller. You suck. Officially.
Like someone getting paid to go on Boston Sports Radio. We're on to Seattle. Seattle.
Exactly. Could you imagine? Hey, Larry, you're going to come on after and you're going to go talk about the Giants. And how would you compare Tommy LaStella and Wilmer Flores? LaStella's good. Yeah. And, Flores, he's good. Flores is good.
You actually might be able to do that with the Giants. Like, how would you compare, Tommy LaStella and, Kevin Padlow? Yeah. Tommy LaStella's bad and Kevin Padlow's bad. Yeah.
Exactly. Padlow, never heard of him. Fairchild, never heard of him. Papirski, and what's that? Never heard of him. Yeah, no, that's seriously, you can say that. Vicky Pellich says in the chat, the Giants are a dumpster fire this year. I got to use dumpster fire more as well. Dumpster fire. I like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of memes of it's like a lot of dumpster fire memes, or it's like that one dog that's like running out of the fiery house. You know what? I was going to say, Lair, maybe today would be a good day to for me to ask you some stories from just your days at the radio. I just honestly, I don't know how much I'm down to go late like usual, but it's just like, how much can we even talk about this freaking team?
I know. Well, we'll go through the chat and then you can ask me some questions. Brian Lucena says Jock is on pace to hit 19 this year. Great. He was on pace to hit 34 at the break. We got this one from Gilbert. Kind of interesting. He says, sign Didi Gregorius from the scrap heap. What do you think of that? I kind of like Didi Gregorius. I mean, he's got lefty power. I know he didn't hit this year, but why not? What do you get to lose?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we could use shortstop depth. I mean, imagine if Estrada goes down and Crawford, let's say, just due to his old age, has to miss a few games. Who are we putting there? JD Davis? Wilmer?
I know they left themselves shortstop less as far as backups. I guess Tyro, and then you moved Flores over.
But like if Tyro goes down, I mean, like seriously,
Is Dixon Machado still at AAA?
Yeah,
or
I
did
guess
they
that's
release
true.
him? Is he at AAA or is he getting released?
Oh God, I'll look it up.
What happened to the great Dixon Machado? Seemed like we barely
Seriously.
got a chance to know him.
I got
Lou
excited.
Marston says, please DFA Belt. Only good on
Ooh,
defense.
can't do
More
that.
strikeouts in the last 6 weeks, more than he hits if you take his bunt hits away. What was Belt doing on the bunt? My God. How about the crowd just booing him loudly and Gallen laughing at him? I mean, seriously, Zach Gallen was laughing at you. The crowd your home crowd was booing you. I mean, that would be hard for me to stomach, man. If I was Brandon Belt and I'm sitting there going, wait, my home fans are laughing at me, are booing me. The opposing pitcher is laughing at me. I mean,
Larry,
is he retired?
Yeah,
is it time for him to retire?
We might have to replay that funny Kapler video. I'll put it up.
When he was in Philly?
Yeah.
So we got 3-1 here. Top of the second inning. Brandon Belt, nobody out. Brandon Belt at the plate. And, whoa, squaring the bunt. Now, Gabe Kapler caught his eye, too. We kind of read his lips. What's this? With a 3-1 count, you're hitting fourth for the Giants. Swing.
Belt bunts it.
Kipe sounded disgusted,
Wow.
but he's just he's not going to go after anybody.
You guys are bunting with 2 strikes. It means that they're just trying to scrap and claw and find a way to get on base against a guy that's really dealing and dominating. And those are 2 veteran players that have been doing this a really long time and are pretty well equipped to decide the best way to not make an out. And that's what they determined in those spots.
Still, that's 2 outs in the big spots. Your number 5 hitter. Are you okay with it in that situation?
I trust Brandon completely.
That means hell no. Hell to the no. I'm not okay with it.
It's good to see the media actually. I feel like even 10 games ago they just let them get away with the first answer. Now they're
Pavs is searching for more.
Yeah.
So did you like that? Is that what you wanted? He's your 5-hole hitter. It's like, he's a veteran. He can do what he wants. I'm not going to question anybody. I don't want to rock the boat. I need to go back to my office and manicure my beard. Ethan Fisher, Luciano with a granny, with Eugene at least. Oh, good to see that Luciano's doing it down at Eugene. Once again, when he does it in AA in the Eastern League, wake me. Until that point, I don't give a shit. I mean, seriously, I really don't care because it doesn't matter. A-ball stats mean nothing. You know how many guys get to A-ball and they kick butt and then they get to AA and they just evaporate and they disappear? A lot. So I don't even really consider anybody a real prospect until they have a productive full year in AA. Once you've done that, now, I've seen guys promoted from AA. We've seen guys, promoted with very little AAA experience. If you do it in AA, it's legit. You do it in A-ball, not legit. There's all kinds of A-ball badasses who never do anything in AA.
It's like baseball's so crazy. It's almost the equivalent of like someone, putting up great numbers as a high school quarterback. It's like
exactly.
A couple levels to go.
Yeah, exactly. He's a 5-star. That means nothing either. Brian Lucena. La Stella has produced Diddly Poo. There you go.
Yeah. I like the H.
G-Rad. Larry, you gots to get down. Oh, my God.
I do like just looking at that photo, though.
That is great. Gary used to look at the camera too. He'd be looking at the camera and be like
I admire the fact that he wore a suit every day. I don't know. Was that more just because he had Kron after, or
I don't know. He didn't wear a suit every day. Sometimes he wore sweats.
Okay.
Sometimes he'd wear like a jumpsuit of some kind of sweats. I paused the Kardashians to watch the Giants. What a shame. Oh my gosh, that is classic. What else we got in the chat here? Let's see. What else? Anybody want to jump in on here? San Jose. Thank God there's football tomorrow. Yeah, we got Niners Vikings tomorrow. I sent you the cut sheet. Yeah, we'll be doing a little pregame for Talk Sport out of London. You can check that out. Acknowledge me, punk. I'm Gary Radinovich. Look at this.
Wait, is that his full name? Did he shorten it? Or is he just messing around?
I think his correct spelling is Radunich. Radunich. I believe that's the correct spelling, but he went by Radnich. Lou Marston, 2023 early renewal opportunity. Save an average of 5% by renewing before September 16th. Plus, receive a personalized Giants jersey, all with just a 30% deposit. So let me ask this question to the chat. Lou's a season ticket holder. Danny is a season ticket holder. Would you do it? Would you do that right now? Would you do an early renewal on 2023, save that 5% by renewing before the middle of September, get that personalized Giants jersey? And who would you want? Who would you want on your jersey?
Larry, the cynical side of me honestly thinks that they're offering the personalized jersey so that you can't do a jersey return.
Exactly.
Like, it's on you. Whatever you personalize, we can't take it back.
30% deposit of probably $15,000.
Yeah.
Right? $20,000. And we're talking about a lot of money.
They need some cash flow.
But honestly, if you are a Giants fan, and I would imagine most of the people in the chat are Giants fans, where are you with the Giants? This is a perfect time to ask. Lou brings this up. The Giants are offering you a 5%, you can save 5% if you renew before mid-September. But if you renew before mid-September, you got to trust Farhan, right? And that's really what it comes down to. How many Giants fans, with their money, putting their money where their mouth is, how many Giants fans trust Farhan? And then if you were getting the personalized jersey, that might be fun too. Who do you want the personalized jersey from?
I would do what Graves did. Do the number 70 and then have
3 players on it.
Papirski, Papirski dash Padlo
Fairchild.
dash VR or whatever it was. Actually, no, I think it was Mike
It'd be
Ford.
hilarious
Papirski
if you try to cut your own deal. You call the 800 number. They probably give you an 800 number. I will not renew unless Papirski calls me on my cell phone.
They could probably make that happen.
I will not renew unless Padlo calls me and leaves me an answering machine voicemail.
Oh my God!
I don't care. I don't care what I'm saving. You don't have Padlo call me. I'm not going to renew.
If Padlo is not at the Fan Fest next year, I will not be renewing.
Hey, is Larry there? Who's this? Padlo. You know it. The Giants would want that renewal so bad. They'd be like, Padlo, come on, man. I know you're in the minors. I know there's no promise you'll ever get back up. But can you make a couple season ticket phone calls? We got some people who are actually want to hear from you before they'll renew. And we need their renewal. We have to have it. Eddie says, I loved watching you and Gary every morning before school. You two are my morning news. Oh, my God. That's scary. That is scary. I will say this, though. I do remember being on the morning of the Newtown, Connecticut shooting. And my sister teaches school. My nephew and 2 nieces live in Connecticut. And all we got was that there was a school shooting in Connecticut. And I'm on the radio. And I'm sitting there. And I'm like, oh, my God. First of all, it's already terrible news, a school shooting. And I'm just thinking to myself, God, God bless these people and how are they getting through this? And we're on the air. And that's where our producer, remember the great Eamon Sweeney? Do you remember Eamon?
Yeah.
His Twitter handle, I think, said the smartest guy in the room.
He hired me to be an intern.
He was very smart. And it was the one thing that I really did love about having him as a producer is I would say to him, I'd be like, bro, I'll take smart people around me on live radio any day of the week and twice on Sundays. You know what I mean? I really believe that if you're going to do live radio and you get a producer, he better be goddamn smart. You know, he better be smart. Why? Because it's live radio and you got to make decisions and you got to, you know, sometimes make judgment calls, and you need to be able to lean on people to tell you what the real story is. And I remember we were talking sports. This story came across, and he's like, he saw kind of that it was transcended what we were doing. You know what I mean? It's like there's some life goes on. We're sports radio is the toy department of life. You know, there's people dying all the time. There's people, you know, there's wars going on. There's people getting murdered. There's people getting raped. There's all kinds of terrible things that are going on. And if you're talking sports, guess what you do? You continue to talk sports. That's the way it goes. We're in the toy department of life. You don't sit there and just because somebody got, you know, murdered in downtown San Francisco, all of a sudden you're turning into, you know, the police blotter and you start talking. No, you're talking about the Giants. You're talking about the Warriors. You're talking about the Niner game. But then there is the level of story that transcends sports, and it's bigger than sports. 9/11. You know, any kind of attack on American soil, and a school shooting of that magnitude. And I remember, you know, it was like in the 11 o'clock hour Pacific, and Eamon came in. He said, Krueg, we need to talk. And Gary's right there, and he's like, you know what? What's the deal? And he's like, hey, there was this shooting in Newtown, Connecticut. At this, you know, all these kids are killed, and it's on every channel. And I just think that we gotta address it. We gotta stop what we're doing. We gotta stop talking about the Giants or whatever it was, and we gotta talk a little bit about this. And we pivoted. And that's the beauty of G-Rad too. It's like, you know what? He was smart as far as he knew when to listen, and he knew when to, he always had perspective on sports. And so that's what made him the great Bay Area icon, I thought, is that not only did he know the sports and love people and talk to people and that kind of thing, but he understood when it was bigger than sports and when we needed to pivot and to talk about something outside of our realm, even despite the fact that, you know, when you're on KMBR or 95.7 The Game, you're on a sports station, and all of a sudden you start talking about politics or murder or, you know, crime, or you kind of know that you're kind of inviting everybody to turn the channel. Right? Because people just kind of know, okay, you know what? I'm listening to sports radio. This is the toy department of life. I come to these guys for laughs and giggles. Hey, wait a second. Something serious happened and they're talking about it on KMBR. I better go to KGO. You know, I better go over to KCBS. I better go over to, you know, and so you're like inviting people to leave, which you never want to do. But some things are more important than ratings. You know, some things are more important and your audience, I think, will always appreciate you if you do have enough perspective to say, okay, we normally talk sports, but this supersedes what we're doing here. And let's give it a few minutes and let's try to impart some of this information that we have about this tragedy to our audience on this massive stick and try to, you know, communicate with people about something that they have no interest in hearing about, especially from us, but it's a big story. So I appreciated Eamon Sweeney so much after that show. And I remember going up to him and saying, bro, you know, I think you did an incredible job, because we were going to keep talking about whatever. It might have been the NCAA. I forget what month it was, but it was obviously during the school year. And we were going to keep talking sports, and we weren't going to budge for that, because we didn't, you know, you're on the air. You don't understand exactly the magnitude of that situation. And the whole nation mourned that terrible school shooting. And unfortunately, it's become all too common now in our society. And so we're seeing it more and more. And I don't know that if it happened today, if all the sports stations in America would go away from talking sports. That's how desensitized we've become to that crime. That right there is so sad, isn't it? I mean, that right there is just so unbelievably unfortunate. But anyway, I appreciated Eamon greatly, and obviously Gary as well. Mark Graves says, I loved Gary's rant on March Madness. Stick your bracket up your ass, Mike. He's just yelled that all the time. One of my favorite segments of all time in radio was when I bet Michigan against Texas in the first round of the NCAA tournament, and Texas had some like breakaway, and it was like I was up 1, and looked like I was going to win, and sure enough, Michigan went the other way, dribbled all the way in, shot, made it. And Gary's like, you're home. I'm like, no, I'm not home. Hold on.
Yeah, don't say
that. Don't say that. You're going to jinx it. Oh, no, it's done. You're done. You're done. No, yeah, you're going to win, right? You're going to win. And all of a sudden, the guy hits the shot, and I'm like, oh, my God. I'm like, son of a bitch. And I'm like screaming. I'm pounding the table. He's like, what happened? What happened? I'm like, you jinxed it. You jinxed it. And I got up and I opened the door, and the doors in the studio are just like 7 billion pounds. There's these heavy, gigantic doors. And I slammed it, and the whole wall shook. Oh, my God. And then Gary's like, what happened? What happened? Oh, he lost? Ah. And then, like, for the next half hour, everybody on the line was like, Gary, you jinxed it. Gary, you jinxed it. And of course, he didn't want to hear anything about that. Yeah. But that was fun. That was funny. Very, very funny. Somebody says, Herbal Heel says, Larry, can you please get Gary on? We're in a pennant race. Or Clarence Beek said, both of you shut up. I was arguing with Kate Scott that morning about something. Gary's like, both of you shut up. I'll try. Eddie says Gary's a pimp. I will say this. I would love to have Gary on. Gary Radnich in the chat says, Larry, how dare you go to the rival 95.7 The Game? I made Dan Dibley. Oh, that is awesome. Mark from Millbrae was hilarious. He was one of the guys. Johnny X. He says, Johnny X is cool. Hopefully he's doing well. You know what? I follow Johnny on Facebook, and I know he's had, I think, either a liver transplant or a kidney transplant. Maybe it was kidney. But so he was having dialysis. He had dropped some LBs. But last I'd heard, Johnny was doing well. So, I just, that's all I can tell you. I really don't know. Lou Marson, please DFA Belt. Another emphasis on DFA Belt. Benji, Larry's storytelling ability should be taught in school. Damn. Do I tell stories that often? I guess I do tell a lot of stories. But yeah.
I like Nicole V. F it. If they don't plan on making big off-season moves, I'm absolutely making a bootleg Aaron Judge jersey to live in my fantasy bubble. That'd be a funny one, like Judge, Harper, like just all the big guys that they didn't ever get. Exactly.
Brian Lucena, has anyone ever seen a dumpster fire?
I can't say I have.
I haven't either. Gonzo says, Larry, get Scott Farrell on during the season for football bets. Poor man cold one. Scotty Farrell.
Was he the guy who you always said if you called him you'd get a free bet?
No, Scotty did national radio. He was right there with Rome. DC, who now does the Giants broadcast, was his producer. Mm-hmm. And Farrell blew up at the beginning of the genre. I mean, really, I would say, the genre probably started in the 80s, but by early 90s it was jamming. And Scotty Farrell was huge, and he was on KMBR at night. Then he was at Westwood One. And he was in New Orleans one time, and he's at this private party, and I see DC and Scotty up on this riser. This was at Pat O'Brien's in the French Quarter. And it was hilarious because we were there and I knew DC, and DC looked down and he saw me and he kind of pointed to me and they let me go up. So I'm up in this party, and it was in this like this top floor penthouse right in the middle of this square, and Pharrell's out on the patio. All these people are down below, and there's all these Westwood One execs walking around, and there's all kinds of food and booze and and I had a couple buddies who were down below. Like, get me up there. I'm like, bro, what can I do, man? I can't get you up here. This is an exclusive party in New Orleans. You know, it's like, I can't get you up here. I'm just, we're throwing back cocktails and eating jambalaya and all kinds of, incredible crepes with prawns and lobster sauce. And it was just absolutely amazing. If you ever get a chance, right? Have you ever gone to New Orleans?
No. Got to
go to New Orleans. Got to hit New Orleans. The Big Easy is you'll never eat and drink any better than you will in New Orleans. It's incredible. I mean, the jambalaya, the seafood. Damon and I, when we were there, Damon, Bruce, and I went to Cochon, which is a really good restaurant in New Orleans, and we had fried alligator. Have you ever had alligator?
I have not. No, I have not.
Alligator is MF says Darren Chan sounds like a nice guy. He is a nice guy. DC, we call him DC. DC's a great guy. But yeah, fried alligator. It's like incredibly tasty chicken nuggets. Maybe a little bit chewier than chicken nuggets, but it's breaded. And it's just unbelievably great.
Nick J says, I had fried alligator. It really does taste like chicken.
Yeah, it tastes like chicken. Maybe chewy chicken, but with a lot of same kind of texture. Oh, it's just so freaking good.
You know what, Larry? I know we just talked about how, this isn't KGO, but Clarence Beeks brings up a good point. What are we doing on Prop 27? I'm rolling with whatever the Indians want, but both sides have commercials with Indians. I'm very confused as to there's all these commercials, and
it's basically a prop saying that the bigger Indian tribes are hoarding the sports gambling money, and right? Isn't that what the commercial says?
There was something about I think it's also they don't want sports betting on online, because maybe the online that prevents you from going to the more local Native American casinos. I'm very confused by it.
I wish I knew. Yeah. Jason Neal says, I'm loving the YouTube channel. Reminds me of the old sports phone nights when I was a kid, then interning with Larry at Stanford games. Jason Neal, my intern? I don't remember that. Man, maybe
he's got a little photo there.
I know. Maybe Jason was a promotions intern. Jason, were you a promotions intern? Because those were the interns that were generally with me at Stanford. They were promotions interns. They weren't necessarily on our side of the building, but right, you were an intern, weren't you? Or you were?
Yeah.
But you were in our sports.
I was Murph and Max intern.
Right. Jason might have been more of a promotions intern. But yeah, appreciate you loving the YouTube channel. We've been loving doing the YouTube channel. And it is a little bit like sports phone, because you know what, you can kind of take it in any direction you want. And I always felt like the nighttime crowd, that's the best time to be on sports radio, at night. Why? Because that's where the real sports fans are. They're at night. Yeah. If you say, what's your favorite time slot? I like 9 to noon. There's nothing quite like getting out of bed, going in, doing your show, and walking to your car, and it's noon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anytime you're going home at noon and you're not sick, that's a good day. That's a good day. Jason says, yes, I was a promotions intern with The Bone and KMBR. I also did Sam's Chowder House with you and Damon. You and Gary were always so generous giving radio tips. Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? The one thing we'll give is advice. Whether you want it or not, we're going to give you advice. But Sam's Chowder House. Rye, you ever been to Sam's?
I have not.
Oh, my God. Dude, You have to take your girlfriend to Sam's Chowder House.
I'm writing it right now.
Yeah.
Sam's
Oh my God.
Chowder
Check it out.
House.
Now she's still down in Southern Cal, right?
Yeah. She's down here all the time.
Yeah. When she comes to town, my buddy Paul Shankman owns Sam's Chowder House. He also owns an Italian place in San Mateo. He's kind of a restaurant bigwig, but he has a absolute gold mine in Sam's Chowder House. And it's incredible. You go down, like you walk around on the beach a little bit down in Half Moon Bay. I'll tell you when it's best to go. It's best to go. Yeah. Ooh, there you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm getting hungry.
Ooh. What if the rest of the show, all I did was,
You put a white blanket over you and turn into a ghost.
See that little beach there? They got a little beach right there in Half Moon Bay. Everybody who knows the Bay Area microclimates knows that July and August is foggy as hell on the coast. Really foggy. Like, August on the coast is foggy. It's foggy in Palos Verdes and LA. It's foggy in Half Moon Bay. It's foggy in Pacifica. But then the calendar turns from August to September and September to October. And those weekend days, if your girl comes up for a day, either in September or October, go to Sam's Chowder House, sit there on Hutch Serves Gaming, donates $1.99. I'll stay up late for the Krueg show. Thank you, Hutch. Appreciate you, brother. But if you get to like September or October, or what we call the Indian summer, where it's warmer, it's absolutely the perfect spot. You go there, there's a little bit more, there's some nice days on the coast in October. Like some of the best days in San Francisco on the water are in, late September and early October. That's when it's the best. That's when it's not foggy. That's when it's really, really nice. Joe Schmo says, I'm still waiting for someone to come through Larry's door. It's a door to the garage, by the way. So
what if sometime there actually was, and then we're like, Larry, watch out. And you're like, oh, you guys,
get out. I'm being attacked in the middle of the show.
Yeah, what if Dan Coccimilgio just walked through in like a diaper and no shirt on?
Sit down, Dan. Coming through you here for the HOA meeting? But yeah, no, Sam's Chowder House, and they have a patio. There's a little beach outlet there, and you can walk around the beach, and there's usually a wait. I mean, like seriously, you're gonna wait, and it's hard to get there. It takes a long time to get out there, but you can go like 92, off the freeway, off 280, go 92 west, or you can go Highway 1 if you're coming out of the city, and it is absolutely. I mean that seafood restaurant where they're pouring wine and they're different concoctions that they're making, and anytime you smell seafood like on the grill with fire and drinks, and you throw back a few beers on the patio, and you sit there and you have. I'll say this: I love the Oysters Rockefeller. Have you ever had Oysters Rockefeller?
Yeah. I'm a big Oysters fan.
Oh my God. Oysters Rockefeller. I mean, baked oysters are really, really good no matter no matter how they're baked. Jay Hutch joins us now. Jay Hutch from Murfreesboro. What's up, Jay? Just giving us kind of the weird look.
Anonymous says, thanks, Ryan. I just got that visual of Dan burned into my mind.
But I was going to say, so I'd go Oysters Rockefeller. And Damon would usually go with the lobster roll. The lobster roll, takes lots of raw lobster and puts it on a big bread sandwich, and then they either put like garlic butter or like a spicy like cocktail sauce on there, and that's good. That's good lobster, but it's not like lobster tail. Have you ever had lobster tail?
Yeah.
Lobster tail, every bite is just so rich and so unbelievably rich. It's like, wow, it's just, you can like notice every single bite. But so Damon used to go with the lobster roll. I always used to go with the oysters Rockefeller, and they would bring you, I think, 6 oysters on the half shell, and it's got, whatever, it's got spinach and bacon and cream, and oh my God, it's just unbelievable. And it's just, they give you that little skinny fork, and it's a one biter almost, and then you can drink the juice out of there, out of the oyster. And I'd order like 2 or 3 of those, have like 2 or 3, and I'll tell you, oysters are incredible, but occasionally you'll get an oyster that will bother you, and it give you kind of cramps because it takes a long time to work its way through your intestines.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
So that's the one.
Did that happen to you?
Well, one time I got like kind of a bad oyster, and I had I was like doubled over with cramps for like literally like almost like 2 days. But the oysters Rockefeller, absolutely spectacular. And then they also had like a seafood pasta, and it was kind of like ever had like a cioppino?
Yeah.
Well, the cioppino's got mussels, it's got scallops, it's got crab legs, it's got crab meat, it's got a lobster, it's got, just every kind of little fish you want in there. And they just do it so incredibly well. And they bring you this bib in this huge bowl. It's just amazing. You got to hit it. You got to hit that spot. You got to go with another couple and sit on the patio and have a couple drinks and then have a great seafood dinner. It's going to set you back, $200-$300. It's not there's cheaper places for sure, but terrific.
On the Krueg company card?
Yeah, exactly. On the Krueg show company card.
So my one story with oyster not settling with me well is, so I've been to Boston one time. The night, so we went to the Red Sox game, and girlfriend and I, we had quite a few drinks, and then next morning we wanted to do some of the historical stuff, so we started like walking around doing that, the
Union Oyster House.
We went to the Union Oyster House at like, I'm talking like 10:15 a.m. and we had woken up, I'm hungover. So my original idea is, I'm like, oh, you know what? This is killing me. I'm going to need like a Bloody Mary or something, just start the day off, get that buzz back so I'm not feeling like crap. I saw on the menu, I was like, what's your most famous thing since you're the oldest restaurant in the United States? And they were like, well, obviously, the oysters.
The oysters, and then I was like, on the ice, they got all the fish sitting there on the ice.
So what I decided to do in my stupid, kind of still drunk mind is they had one of those things that was like an oyster shot. And so they put the shot in with the oyster. My stomach has never been so disturbed. That was my breakfast. I had a completely empty stomach except for a bunch of booze from the night before.
There's supposed to be an aphrodisiac.
There's supposed to be an aphrodisiac, but at 10 in the morning, it just was not the move. Just a sweaty oyster, and then, with the vodka. Gives me the heebie-jeebies.
I went to the water bar on the Embarcadero and had oysters, but I had them just like the raw oysters, and it tastes like they just pulled them out of the sea. And that's a little too fishy for me. You know what I mean? I either I'll tell you what's awesome. Have you ever had fried oysters where they deep fry it and batter it?
So good.
Oh my God. They serve it with this sort of it's kind of like a ranch, but it's kind of like a tartar sauce, sort of. Yeah. Maybe it's tartar sauce. It's sort of a ranchy kind of a sauce, but I think it's tartar sauce. Oh my God. So good. Good.
That was a staple of mine when I was living in Glendale, California. They had this place that was like supposedly the best fish like in the whole Los Angeles area. It's called Fish King, and it was unbelievable. And the thing that you'd go there and they had everything like oysters, calamari, all kinds of fish. And like for lunch, you could just get the option to fry any of it, and they just serve it with a lemon wedge and some fries, and it's unbelievable.
Seriously. MF says, Damon still not get along with Gary? They're just different guys. They're just different guys. Joe Schmo says, anyone remember Damon and Gary on Cambiar? Just remember that. Didn't work out. I'll tell you that much. Lou Marston says, Half Moon Bay Seahorse Ranch horseback riding before Sam's. You're guaranteed to get laid.
That does sound quite romantic.
Ha says Gary was an ass to Damon. Let me just say this. It's a little bit more complicated than that. 49ers says, speaking of crabs, where's Dan tonight? What's up, Jay Hutch? How are you, man?
Dan's busy eating his chicken ass.
Yeah, exactly. Danny's getting his complete sin.
I love how I bet his wife. I have the feeling that his wife like forced him to take the hat off if they're going to go out to dinner for his birthday. That's his birthday. You know,
Mark,
he didn't like that thing
Mark Graves. Make sure you drop Larry's name at Sam's, Ryan. Yeah, seriously. I don't know if that will help you, but anything to get a table at that place. I've seen people wait for 3 hours. Do you know I was at Sam's the night that Brandon Belt hit the home run off who was the pitcher that he hit off in the Nationals game in DC in the playoffs? You guys remember that where Yasmiro Petit went like 7 out of the pen in extras and the game went to 16th?
In the 18th,
I don't remember the pitcher.
Tanner
Roark?
Yeah. Oh, yep. Tanner Roark.
It was Tanner Roark. Belt, no doubter. And I remember I'm facing the TV, and some of the people are Giants fans. There were some people gathered around the TV, but it's not a sports bar, so there was a lot of people, and there's a lot of tourists and stuff. So there's a lot of people who don't give a crap, right, about the Giants. And I saw Belt hit that shot, and it was like, I'm like, goodbye, baby. And I threw my hands in the air, and it was just people looking at me like, somebody take that guy out of our seafood restaurant. He's just
how'd that guy get a table?
Yeah. Romo 2001 breakfast oysters. Looks like he's vomiting there.
Well, I don't like thinking about it right now.
I don't know. Breakfast oysters may not be the best, but it's better than gas station sushi. Never go gas station sushi.
I don't even like Safeway sushi.
Really? Anonymous. That's the one thing. Do you have a great sushi place? Do you have a place that you absolutely trust for sushi?
I don't in the Bay Area. I never really was into sushi growing up.
I have buddies who will blow huge cash on sushi.
Yeah. I feel like it's
hundreds.
I feel like LA is like a big sushi place. Like I got a lot of sushi, a lot of good sushi, a lot of way overpriced sushi there. But I don't really know where to go in the Bay.
Most of the stuff is like too exotic for me. I'll go like shrimp roll and little crab, but I can't go. I can't those huge pieces of raw fish. No.
Yeah, got to get some sake in me before I start eating that stuff.
There you go, like Kramer on Seinfeld. Jay Hutch, Giants lose again. Giants lose. Giants lose. Giants lose.
Yeah.
What'd you think? They fell into a 7-0 hole tonight, and that was it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even when they scored 4 runs, I wasn't worried.
Did you bet against them?
No, it just literally I put out a tweet saying Giants are done when I just checked the score and it was 7-0, and then like a minute later I heard that they scored. I was like, not worried. They're gonna lose. They're done.
I mean, the fact that they had like this final grasp for 5-game winning streak started to get us all hope. We're all
and then lost to Arizona.
And then let's just go ahead and lose the last 2 at home versus Arizona with our aces on the mound. And then let's just get behind so badly in Colorado that there's not even a chance of hope.
No.
Farhan just Justin Kerr when he says, "Okay, Larry, enough food talk. This is not the Food Network." I like the Food Network, by the way.
Speaking of fishy food, and I'm sorry to disrespect you, Justin Kerwin, but what are your thoughts on? I think we might have talked about this, but what were your thoughts on? Oh crap! What's the really expensive caviar? What are your? Because that always I felt that just tastes of the sea. I don't really know what it tastes like. It just
don't like caviar.
Yeah.
Don't. I mean, I've had it. It's fish eggs.
Yeah.
It's a delicacy. It's very, very popular. Don't get it. Don't like it. It's like, I'll put it right there with poi. I don't like poi either.
I'm not sure I know what poi is.
Oh my God. You ever gone to Hawaii?
Yeah.
Well, have you ever had the luau? Have you ever gone to the luau?
Yeah.
Poi is this like gray, milky like substance, and it comes from pork.
Ugh.
It's just awful. And
it's
fattening.
That does not sound good.
It's like every bad thing you can possibly want. It's fattening. It tastes like crap.
It's like creamy and purple.
It's creamy and gray. It's like
what the
gray
hell?
Purple.
Ugh. Poi sounds pretty good too.
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Like the name sounds good.
Oh, it's ass. It's awful. I'd rather have completes.
Ugh.
Ow.
It's just terrible.
It's that bad.
Wait a second. Justin Kerwin, Sam's is the most overrated seafood restaurant in the Bay Area and overpriced? What?
Justin Kerwin came here to hate tonight.
Come
I
on,
understand.
Justin Kerwin.
I understand.
That ain't
He's
right.
sad about the Giants.
I'll say this. I do like the fish market in San Mateo. That's not bad. Joe Schmo says Oysters Bingo at Buckeye Roadhouse in Marin is legit. Legit as fuck, he says. Solid bar, too.
Legit AF low key.
Yeah.
Larry, you ever eaten at Port Costa?
No, where's that at?
Oh God, it's just above Martinez in that little bay section. You should look it up. You have to drive all the way in a country road. It's down this little town of 1,000 people. It's like a speakeasy bar restaurant though. They have an amazing pork stew. It's delicious.
That does sound good. Haha says mussels are better than oysters. I was at a incredible restaurant in DC called Old Ebbitt's Grill, which is right by the Capitol, and it's a classic, awesome DC seafood place. DC is such a dressy town that if you have a coat on, like a blazer, there's still restaurants that won't seat you because you're not dressed up enough.
That's crazy.
Seriously, there are places that won't seat you unless you have a gray or black suit. I swear to you.
That's the best thing that California has done.
We're very casual. We're very casual.
And the fact that now, you can be billionaires no longer dress with a giant monocle and a hat and a big mustache and a tuxedo. Now billionaires like Mark Cuban or whatever, all these people in LA, they just wear cargo shorts and freaking sandals. Look at Danny. I mean, I love it.
We got some people recommending great seafood or great sushi. Nobu in Malibu, Katsuya in Studio City.
Both of those are great.
Must be in LA. Nick J says Osaka sushi in the Concord Walnut Creek border. Well, that's where I'm at. I got to remember that. Osaka sushi.
Osaka.
Is that the one by the Amazon 365?
I don't know. And Justin Kerwin, enough with food talk.
Oh, wait. Nick J said, why does EA ruin Madden every year? That's interesting because I just downloaded the new Madden and it is so annoying. They added every year they add one new feature that you have to learn that you're not comfortable with. This year it's a whole system where when you're the quarterback, it's you press something for a touch pass, but then now you also have to use the analog stick to locate the location. And I guess it'll be cool, but it's going to take me months to get used to it.
Lou Marson says best sushi in San Francisco is Nara on Polk Street next to Swan's Oysters Depot.
I've heard that is great.
That
have you been to Swan's Oyster Depot?
No, never.
Oh, who always said it was his favorite restaurant is Anthony Bourdain. I've yet to go.
Really?
But yeah.
I'll say this though, in Maui, I went to the Swan Court, which is this incredible court at the, I think it's the Sheraton. I mean, literally, swans swim up to your table, and they've got tiki torches, and you're sitting there, and it's you're inside this restaurant, but it's out on the water. The water, the swans swim right up to the table. It's incredible. I mean, especially at nighttime, it is absolutely incredible.
Interesting.
Eddie says Larry does what he wants. Exactly. Exactly.
Yes,
Fire me if you don't like me. Kyle says Larry and Gary for life. I wish we'd get Gary on here. It'd be fun. Okay, Justin Kerwin says he wants to change the subject. Okay. Larry, 43 games left. What would you do if you are in charge the rest of the season? I talked about this last night.
Take inventory.
Take inventory. Find out what you got. I want to see Cole Waits. I want to see RJ Dabovich. I want to see Elliot Ramos. I want to see Izan Diaz. I want to see about probably a half dozen guys. I want to see Kyle Harrison.
Yeah.
You know who I don't want to see? I don't want to see LaStella. I don't want to see Belt.
Don't want to see Tyler Rogers. Don't want to see LaStella.
We've seen them all year.
LaStella! Okay, that's
They're
my
done.
Streetcar Named Desire reference. La Stella, did you get it? You guys didn't get it.
Did not know.
I got it.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that. All I would say is, the Giants are, they did it to themselves this year, and I'm not sure why. I think maybe it was almost like they didn't believe in their own, maybe they just felt like once Buster wasn't coming back, it wasn't worth spending all the money. But I don't know why they felt like they could spend a lower percentage of their revenue than the Dodgers when the Dodgers have more revenue. So LA's got more revenue, and then they spent a higher percentage of that revenue on their team. So the Giants were cooked either way. You're not going to be able to be, the LA produces a lot more revenue. If they're going to spend a higher percentage of that revenue than you are, you got very little chance. You got very little shot to compete. And then the Giants talked about, picking up Story, picking up Suzuki, and they just didn't. And then when they didn't pick those guys up, they didn't pivot to anything close. They just said, we'll just parade a bunch of minor leaguers through the first half of the year and see how it goes. Well, guess what? It didn't go well.
You know what, Lair? Honestly, I'll put together, because it'd be really interesting to look at every MLB franchise and then what their percentage would be. Because is an interesting one is like, I wonder if the Giants' percentage is higher or lower than the A's. Because, you could say, the A's aren't paying anything for their roster, but also they don't make any money. So
They could be negative.
it could be negative.
It could be negative this year.
It's just been a frustrating year because they've, not only did they not spend money, then Farhan, misled the fans. Misled the fans both going into the year.
The entire season's been misled.
Yeah, but first of all, they didn't. The owners played El Cheapo and pocketed $20 million that they should have spent and reinvested in the club. Mistake number one. Mistake number two. Farhan did the opposite of good sales. He was a bad steward this year. He talked a big game. He was all hat, no cattle. He talked Suzuki. He talked Story. He delivered Padlo and Fairchild. Then in the middle of the year, he's talking about superstars, and they traded for J.D. Davis, and then they didn't. Then they sold off a couple pieces, but they clearly needed bullpen help, and they clearly didn't sell. So it's like, so you didn't sell, but you badly needed bullpen help, and you didn't get any. So I can't tell you how disappointed I am in Farhan. I just think that Farhan totally blew this year, and then he got Giants fans all hot and bothered about, this team's going to be better because we're gonna invest in this player and that player. Didn't invest in anybody. Then started talking big at the deadline and did nothing. Did nothing of substance.
I can't believe they didn't at least trade Jock for some prospects, man. Like, now we're just gonna lose Jock for nothing.
That's Rodon. You tell me Rodon wouldn't have fetched something, and you're sitting there now just crossing your fingers, hoping upon hope that Rodon doesn't get hurt.
Think about it. Seriously, Larry, like, if we gave up Rodon and Jock, that's a guaranteed couple stud prospects. How much more interesting would that be? And now this is exactly what we were hoping wouldn't happen. Like, we're out of the race. It's August. And we have nothing to show for Rodon or Jock.
To me, that was the whole reason that you picked up Rodon, right? You could have had Gausman, but Gausman was a 5-year deal. So you signed Rodon to a 2-year deal. And when they signed him to that 2-year deal, I thought, you know what? That's a genius signing. Why? Because if they're in it, they've got a guy who can front their rotation in the playoffs. If they're not in it, they can pivot at the deadline and sell them off for a terrific piece to the puzzle. Except they never did that.
No.
And not only that, it wasn't like there was a million ways it could have gone south, and they surfed the season, and everything went great. He had a phenomenal start. His last start before the deadline went 7, struck out 10, walked nobody, looked sharp. They got nothing. They got absolutely nothing for him. So now he's sitting there, and it's like, okay, now they're trying to baby him because now it's like, oh God, last thing you want is to see him get hurt before the season ends, because then you're on the hook for next year at full freight. Odds are he's going to walk in free agency now, but that's not even the worst thing. The worst thing would be if he gets hurt and he sticks around at $22 million a year. So it's just it's just a missed opportunity. And what it's done, it essentially has taken a rebuild that already is going too slow, and it's just made it slower. I mean, you're in year 4, and you need to accelerate your rebuild. And that was like so clear as day that they needed to accelerate the rebuild. Did they? No. If anything, they slowed it down by not trading Peterson or Jock and diluting themselves into, well, we can probably turn it around. You're not turning around anything. You don't score enough runs. You don't play good enough defense. Your rotation's not deep enough. Your bullpen's not deep enough. Your bench isn't any good. You're not beating anybody. So they really I felt like they misplayed their hand this year horribly. And then I think that Kapler lost the room partly because I think he went political. So I thought he blew it. I thought he had a bad year. I thought Farhan had a bad year. And I think the Giants ownership pocketed $20 million of profits they should have reinvested in the club. So there's your what happened. That's what happened.
I would have rather seen them, at least use that 20 million and just cut costs to go to the freaking game or something. Like, do something with it. Free parking.
Parking. They're never going to get free parking.
Yeah. Free parking is like, what? Frank
insane.
McCourt bought the Dodgers. When he bought the Dodgers, he somehow purchased the parking lots at Dodger Stadium.
He still owns it.
He sold the Dodgers. He kept the parking.
God, That is savage.
That tells you right there how valuable parking is. Do you own the Dodgers? I don't own the Dodgers anymore, but I own the parking lot.
Yeah.
I mean, Red Java doesn't even have to sell a single product if they don't want. They have everyone over a barrel.
Jay says, painfully slow and a fucked up rebuild. Well,
the Giants have been a rebuild.
I don't know if it's fucked up, but it's slow. It's so slow. I mean, literally at this pace, where they're not really going after big time free agents, where their farm system has guys, but they're an A-ball. Marco Luciano. I mean, my God. My youngest kid's going to be in college before Marco Luciano establishes himself. I look at the Giants and I go, you know what? Why is it appreciably better next year?
There's no reason to think it would be.
It's not. It's going to be worse.
Yeah, so that's a tough one. That's a tough sell. DJ Venus asks a pretty good question here. Larry, how much longer do you give Farhan to complete his process?
Look at this comment.
What's a fair number of years?
He's in
year 4.
This is telling.
Humble season ticket salesman. Since Farhan was hired, the Warriors went to the finals, fell into the dark ages, and climbed back up the mountain. All in those 4 years. How many more years, Farhan?
One more.
I think it's fair to ask that question.
Yes.
How many more years, Farhan? How many more years? Will he be asked that question? No. There'll be more jokes about his fantasy team and, isn't he glib? Isn't he fun? Isn't he this? Isn't he that?
Padres are going to lose again.
Nobody's going to ask that question. Nobody's going to say, it's been 4 years. And I don't want to be argumentative, Farhan, but give me a guesstimate. Another word I need to use more, guesstimate.
I mean, besides 107, what's been good about it?
I mean, what is a guesstimate?
107 is just the aberration. That's just an aberration.
What is the difference between a guesstimate and an estimate? Is an estimate just a more informed guess?
I think an estimate is like, you got to put you're actually
numbers.
Saying this is what you believe.
Okay.
If it's a guesstimate, you're just like saying, I don't know, but I'll go with this. I don't think Farhan has anything but a guesstimate at this point. Because it's like, realistically, if he had said, if today were, Farhan's introductory news conference, and he said, you know what, Giants fans, I know you have high expectations. I expect to turn this thing around and compete regularly with the Dodgers in blank number of years. What number would you want to hear him say there? If he was inheriting the team today, you would say, what's realistic? What's realistic? If he said in a year, you'd be like, come on. Now he's just he's blowing smoke. He can't catch them in a year. If he said 3, that would have been like, wow, super aggressive game plan.
Well, Larry,
if he said 5, I would have said, you know what? I like Farhan. He's realistic. But now it's year 4.
Yeah.
And it's not coming next year. So, like, if he had stood up at that press conference and said, guys, we're running with the Dodgers. All I need is 8 years. We would have been talking about that forever. That right?
I mean, Larry,
I think that at the press conference, that opening press conference, hey, we're going to run with the Dodgers. We're going to be on their level. How long is it going to take, Farhan? It's going to take 8 years.
2 presidential terms.
Yeah, it's going to take 8 years. 2 more Winter Olympics from now, we will be competitive. You know what I mean? People would have said 8 years. Really? That seems like a long time, Farhan.
I mean, if you asked him,
now it seems almost aggressive to say that.
Yeah, if you asked him, I feel like he'd be like, well, the farm system, it's coming along, but we have to rebuild it. Oh, well, then why didn't you trade Rodon and Jock at the deadline? Well, we thought we could compete. Well, what?
They don't even like
is
the
it?
word rebuild.
Which one is it?
They don't want to say it.
Use it. If you can't say rebuild, then you can't rebuild.
Yep.
Right?
They've been doing it. They've been doing it since 2016.
Maybe that's why they didn't.
It's been a rebuild since 2016.
Sneaky. We thought they were being sneaky. Maybe they didn't use rebuild because they can't rebuild. We won't say rebuild because then they'll actually expect us to build something. Let's say nothing. And hopefully nobody will notice.
This is what we call a build.
And every now and then when people start getting mad at me, I'll just joke about how I have Kendrick Bourne on my fantasy team. That will win them over. Yeah, and the hosts will just giggle and it'll be great. It'll be awesome. But seriously, I mean, it's 8. We're talking, if he said, I have an 8-year plan, we would have laughed him off the stage. And now, if he said, I'll get it done by year 8, you'd say, you really think you can do that?
Come on,
I'm thinking more like
here,
I'm thinking more like 10. Maybe 12. And if he had said that at the time, he wouldn't have gotten out of the room.
Yeah.
We will run with the Dodgers within 12 years. Could you imagine that? Calba says, here's $10. Down year for our prospects. You know who isn't down? Alexander Canario, the main prospect we gave up for Chris Bryant. He's got 29 jacks. He's in Double-A for the Cubs. He wasn't even a top 10 prospect for us. It's funny. I talked to a Giants scout who said, man, he's got Sammy Sosa-like bat speed. And then I started watching this kid, and I'm like, wow, he does have Sammy Sosa-like bat speed. And then I said it a couple times. Oh, yeah, you know what? Yeah, they got Chris Bryant, but I'll tell you, the guy they got rid of, the scouts that I talked to said he's got Sammy Sosa-like bat speed. There were other hosts who were like ripping me. Oh, yeah, Krueger saying that Canario's Sammy Sosa. I'm like, I didn't say that, Jack. I said I talked to a baseball scout who told me he's got Sammy Sosa-like bat speed. Laugh it up now, buddy.
Larry, to be fair,
jacks in Double-A. If that guy had 29 jacks in Double-A for the Giants? We'd be right now, there'd be in the outfield, there'd be a countdown, the Canario countdown. He'll be here in 2 weeks. He'll be here in 10 days. He'll be here in 9 days. Yeah, he's got 29 jacks. He's in Double-A. What? Oh, my God, they'll have a statue for him. And then people will be calling up all these sports radios. Canario's coming. Canario. Yeah, Ramos and Luciano, but Canario's coming, man. 29 jacks.
Hey, guys got Sammy Sosa level bat speed.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, exactly.
But at least it's only in Double-A. You can't take much from Double-A.
Gilbert says, Gilbert Gamboa, Larry Bear actually said rebuild isn't in the Giants' DNA. No shit.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh God.
Unbelievable.
Seriously though, he's
Somebody just Joe Blow just says, "Come on, man."
is that
I
Joe
like
Biden?
that could be anything. Come on, man, could be anything. That could be
That's
like
Joe-
I'm with you. Come on, man. I could be I'm against you. Come on, man. Do you think Joe Blow's "Come on, man" is, "Hey, Krug, I'm with you," or is that a "Come on, man, I'm not with you and I'm against"?
I think
Probably
it's
with you.
Yeah, I think it's against.
With?
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Come on, man. It's hard to decipher.
It is hard to decide.
decipher.
It's Joe. That's why it's Joe Biden's catchphrase. Like it's like because it works for anything.
Matt always looking for dirt. Was Murph ripping you? Was it Murph? I don't even remember, and I don't give a shit. I don't. All I remember is that somebody was like, "Yeah, Krueger's comparing Canario to Sammy Sosa. We got Chris Bryant. Yes."
You know what sucks is that the Padres and Brewers lost, so now they get to just keep spinning the freaking. It gets to go along for a little bit more. You know, we just need a little run.
At what point do they stop? Because they need to stop now, but at one point does Farhan and the ownership and Kapler have that meeting and stop?
I was talking to somebody the other day who ran into Larry Bear, who said that that his mood was like he was non-committal, and that he was he didn't say anything, but he was a little bit less than thrilled with how this thing has gone this year. Now, that's not saying much, obviously. I'm not really I'm not unearthing any gem there. Yeah. But I can honestly tell you that somebody that I know ran into Larry and said that Larry was not necessarily all that pleased with where this thing has gone this year. Now, how could they? They can't draw to save their life. Some of these crowds are just embarrassing. So I don't know. Joe Blow, generally with Krug. Come on.
Hey, how about somebody said, I mean, kind of jokingly about we should have the Cubs GM, but seriously, like they said,
who is the Cubs GM?
I don't even know. But last year, I mean, they said, you know what, guys, we recently won a World Series more recently than the Giants did. We're going to trade away all our guys, even though they're still kind of young. They traded away all their guys. They got a bunch of great prospects back. And then they went out and they signed the Japanese kid. And it's like now they have a young nucleus with a bunch of prospects coming up. It's like they did that in half a year. It's that easy. I mean,
is it Theo? Is Theo there?
No, I don't think it's Theo anymore. Cubs GM. It was very Theo-esque though. Carter Hawkins. Huh. He was introduced in 2021.
We just robbed the Giants for 4 days of Dixon Machado. Seriously. They got a prospect from the Giants, and then the Giants DFA'd Kervin Castro, and the Cubs picked him up.
Ugh.
2 different arms for 4 days of Dixon Machado. Was it worth it?
No.
Kyle McKiernan. I like that. Although, Bochy's not coming back, but I would like someone like a Bochy.
What do you think of Will Clark?
Yes.
I mean, hell, he turned around Bart's career, it seems like. So,
yeah, had a beer with him. And
what do you think of what do you think of kind of like the analytics GM in Farhan, but then kind of more of a scouting manager, like a David Bell or somebody who's from a little bit more, not just such a yes man.
I love David Bell. He's great.
I think David Bell was going to be Brian Sabian's handpicked.
Didn't he run the farm?
Manager post Bochy.
Didn't he run the farm for a while?
He did for a little while. Someone says Hoyer. Jed Hoyer is the Farhan in Chicago right now. That sounds right. Jed Hoyer.
Oh, Jed Hoyer.
Anonymous is Ron Wotus. Bring back Wotus as manager. Eric Hernandez says. Does Ronnie want to do it? I mean, he's waited forever to do it. Gladstone Ducks says Will Clark helped Joey Bart.
Yeah. Wasn't there a lot of internal talk?
What's that?
Wasn't there a lot of internal talk that Wotus was going to get it?
I mean, Wotus was up for it when it went to Boch.
Yeah.
And I just think they wanted a bigger profile guy who had done it before. You know, maybe, I don't know, maybe there's some people that feel that Wotus is a better bench coach than a manager. Maybe some people feel that he's, you know, I don't know. I don't know what. I'll say this. I think he's a phenomenal baseball guy. I think he has the respect of the guys in the room. I think he would be an outstanding manager. I really do. Instead, Justin Kerwin says Wotus was chased out by Kapler. I do find it unfortunate that, you know, that Kapler had Wotus for 1 year and then it was like, goodbye. Now it's time for, you know, somebody else. It's like, I don't know. That to me kind of rubbed me wrong. Like they kept Wotus around for 1 year as like, you know, and then they're like, okay, now it's time for our own deal. I won 107. I've got clout. I can get him out of here. But how hard does the team work this year compared to last year? Do they still work as hard? I don't know. I don't know if they do.
I heard that they're not.
I mean, they don't work nearly as hard at the plate. So
they've regressed defensively.
Oh God, Joe Blow. No.
In every category.
Aubrey Huff, manager.
Yeah, he wears his panties the whole time or whatever.
Aubrey Huff's gone off the deep end.
Yeah,
we don't have to talk about him.
Yeah, this is Larry's pick. Who manages this team, Kapler or Billy Haywood? Billy Haywood. Is that from Major League?
I think so.
If it was me, I have already said it. I would go with Wotus in the third base coaching box, Will Clark as the manager, Ryan Vogelsong as the pitching coach.
And you can keep Kai Correa can stay.
And I would keep Farhan for another year. I'd keep Farhan for another year, and I would replace Kapler and some of his staff, and I would go a little bit more fire, a little bit more experience, and also then make the ownership group spend some goddamn money. My God. I mean, seriously, you're not beating the Dodgers ever spending a lower percentage of a smaller revenue pie. It's not going to happen. You're not going to do it. Your farm system, I don't believe that you're going to be able to get your farm system going so that you could spend a lower percentage of your revenue and still beat them. You're going to have to spend with them. You know, you're going to have to spend your money at the same rate they spend theirs. If you're not willing to spend, this year LA spent 52% of their revenue on player payroll. The Giants spent 47% of their revenue on player payroll. If that trend continues, you're cooked. You cannot do it that way. You have to spend at least, it's one thing to spend less than them, but you have to spend the same percentage of their revenue that they're spending on players just to look the fans in the eye. My God. I mean, I don't think you can't sit there and say, hey, we're doing everything in our power to win when you're not spending the same percentage of revenue that the Dodgers are spending. They wanted it more than you wanted it. You know, you can say you wanted to win, but they wanted to win more because it all comes down to put your money where your mouth is. All right. Do you want to win? Yeah, you say you want to win, but guess what? They want to win more than you. They've proven it.
Yeah. I mean, and you could say, 5%, that's not much. Well, hell,
it's $20 million.
That's your big play to get people to renew their season tickets. 5%.
Right. And also $20 million. If you gave Farhan $20 million, and I'm not talking about $20 million long term, I'm talking about $20 million of 2022 payroll room. So he could take on a player making 10, a player making 2, another player, making 8, and now he's added $20 million of payroll this year. You can add $20 million of players to this team. They would be a far more competitive team, but instead they pocketed it. They chose the wrong year to pocket profits.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's some years you could get away with that, but your farm system has to be kicking ass before you can sit there and say, you know what, we're going to take this money, we're going to put it in our pocket, and we're not going to miss it because our farm system's that good. Guess what? Your farm system isn't that good. So LA's farm system's better, and they have more revenue, and they're spending a higher percentage of it. So guess what? They're going to win. And if you do the same thing next year, LA's going to win again.
It feels like Farhan is so damn focused on the micro of everything and never the macro. Like the trade deadline was a perfect example. I feel like he poured all of his mental bandwidth into winning that JD Davis trade and getting some prospects. And it's like, all right, make the JD Davis trade. Just do rough for JD Davis, and let's focus on bringing somebody in or sending people out for prospects. Let's focus on the macro. What are a few minor prospects going to do for, that's how I feel about it. And he's so focused on these fringe roster moves. It's like you can only spend so much brain power. I think
Farhan is very cautious. Very cautious. I don't want to make any trades at all where we may lose the trade. I don't want to make any moves at all that could be that could be thrown back in my face. I'm just going to do something for nothing. I'll give you nothing. You give me something. I'll keep doing something for nothing, something for nothing, something for nothing, something for nothing. Guess what? Then I'll have something, and I will have traded away nothing. But guess what? Well, really what that does, you're just rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic, and you've got terrible marketing. It's like, and nobody cares about your team. And you've got a roster full of nobodies that nobody wants to buy. I mean, I wouldn't, if I was a season ticket holder, there's no chance in hell I'm renewing. You know what? I'm pretending California is now Missouri. Show me. You want my money? Show me. You want me to re-up for season tickets on 2023? Show me. I ain't doing it ahead of time. I'm not putting my eggs in your basket and trusting you. What the hell? Seriously, it's very expensive to go to the game, and you deked us this year. You led us into, we're talking Suzuki, we're talking Story. We're picking up Fairchild. We're picking up Padlow. We can pick up a superstar player at any position. He said it. It's on record. He said it on record literally 10 days before the trade deadline. We've got enough bandwidth. We've got enough wherewithal to pick up a superstar player for any position in our team. And then you trade for JD Davis and 3 minor league arms, and don't add any relief pitching. Don't add any marquee hitting, and sink like a stone, absolutely sink like a stone.
The worst thing to me is they pocketed the money after 107. You're thinking, all right, build on the year. Posey's gone, Solano gone, Bryant gone. No, they pocket the $20 million instead of trying to replace them. They didn't. I don't know. It was just kind of a slap in the face, to be honest. And then not trading Rodon, not trading Jock. I mean, hell, they could have even traded Pelt maybe if they even tried hard enough. Maybe a team would have picked them up down the stretch, DH, hit some bombs. They could have done so many things to retool for next season, and they did nothing. And now they're even worse than what they started this year.
Some years you win, some years you lose, some years you develop, some years you make a big trade and add somebody of significance. They've done none of it.
Nothing. They've literally done nothing.
Nothing. They've done nothing to advance their situation. Clarence Beeks, who's the one player we want gone? What?
That's not
we wish there was one player.
Yeah, it's like 5, 6.
It's the better. Honestly, the better question is
guys
who's the
who
one
wear
player
the
we don't
jerseys and
want
say
gone?
Giants. We want those guys gone. And we'd like new guys in there. No, I mean,
There's
seriously.
3 guys we 100% don't want gone. Pretty much.
We played this game last night. Yeah. It was like Doval. Don't move Doval.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brian Lucena. I haven't gone to a single game this year, and I'm not going back until, as Larry said, they show me. Yeah, show me. You want my money? Show me.
Yeah.
You want me to spend my you want me to spend my money? You spend your money. You spend your money, and I'll spend my money. And that would be my message if I was a Giant season ticket holder. Spend your money, and guess what? The season doesn't start till April. I got plenty of time to buy seats. I'll buy them in March, but I ain't buying them now. I ain't buying them in August. There are Giants fans who are season ticket holders like Danny who can't offload their tickets. What kind of I'll give you an incentive to redo your tickets? I can't get rid of the tickets I got right now.
No,
Why the hell would I want to go down this road again?
Everyone out there, Danny maybe should give out like his exact tickets, because I mean, he's selling these things for like $30 and they are unbelievable club level tickets, man. They are awesome freaking. If this was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, like they're like $250 a pop type tickets. I mean,
Eric Gomes says, "LOL, it sucks, man. At least those orange hats look cool."
Yeah,
I like the light orange hat. I like that hat. It's a good looking hat.
I like it too. It reminds. I was back to Farhan. Like, it's almost like we sometimes get on Prague of the Niners. Sometimes it's like he seems like he's like he feels like he has to win everything. But you know what? He's not in charge of everything, and he's not. He's not the. He didn't stop the Niners from trading 3 first-round picks for Trey Lance. Like, the Niners still take swings. You got to be able to take. I'm fine with being frugal, but you got to still take swings.
Exactly.
They haven't taken a swing since Beltran.
Chris Bryant.
They didn't sign Beltran.
Yeah, they didn't even sign him.
Yeah.
He got hurt too.
I would say the last big swing they took was Zito.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got PTSD, I guess.
Who was the last big time free agent they signed? It was Zito, right?
Zito.
Or Rowan, maybe?
Zito.
Holy crap! That's actually yes. I mean, seriously.
I mean, you're the San Francisco fucking Giants. You're in a major market. You have a fan base that has expectations. You're charging big dollars to park. You have to participate in the free agent market. You can't just sit it out. Danker says, Larry, my dad was class of 68 at SI. He said pretty much after the Mays and McCovey days, the Giants never really spent on players up until the late 80s. And Barry, that was 1992. 1992 is when the Giants signed Barry Bonds. But realistically, they have sat out the free agent market since Zito.
Dan, see if you can help us with this. Who is the last big free agent that the Giants signed?
Last big free agent?
Yeah, it's like a big deal, other than Barry Zito.
Maybe call your friends on the HOA and ask them.
Yeah. Oh, man. It was probably Cueto.
Yeah, maybe Cueto.
That awesome 6-year contract with the year 2 buyout. Thank you, Robert Evans.
Yeah, and he got hurt. And then he just
I remember when that contract got announced, we're talking about it on the air, and people are like, you know what? Damn it, though, it's only really a 2-year deal, and he's going to opt out. And then I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, how stupid are you? I mean, I was like, are you really think he's going to opt out? What Major League Baseball player is going to be going so good that they're going to opt out of 4 years of $22 million a year?
This is not LeBron James here.
And Johnny Cueto is going to be going that good that he opts out of 4 years at $22 million. I go, the hell he's going to opt out. He's going to opt in, and they're going to get stuck on the with that contract. And it's going to be ugly. Sure enough, 18-game winner in the first year. Second year, he laid a huge egg and opted in just in time to get hurt.
Yep. I was listening to you guys on the way as I drove home, and was hearing you guys talk about the payroll and the Dodgers. And it's pretty pathetic. And the season ticket holders, I definitely won't be renewing. They're trying to get me to renew for a discount right now. And it's like, for what? I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and hey, what happened?
Damn, they're gonna give you a personalized jersey so you can pick your favorite player.
Yeah.
Are you taking your shirt off right now? Why'd you darken the room there?
I don't know what happened. Where's my what the heck's
probably
going
the
on?
HOA.
Yeah, probably the HOA. They probably saw the video yesterday and probably suspended my whole.
We have a hole in our roof, and then what I would like to do is, because I'm 55 and I'm in this 55 and over, I would like it if we added another pool and maybe a shallow end for my. And if we can keep Dan Coccimilgio out of that pool area, he's always got his completes, and I'm not comfortable. Dustin the Gale donates $4.99. Whatever happened to Gary Brown? I believe he's a vendor in the upper deck. No, I have no idea. I was out of the loop during those years, but it feels like they didn't.
Malays section 318.
Gary Brown didn't get a chance.
Dan's not taking over the chat.
What's going on now? What's happening here? What is going on? Where's Rye? Where's Jay Hutch? Where's Dan Coccimilgio? This is like Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Rye, that was a movie, by the way. That I don't know if you never heard of it. Have you ever heard of Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
I've heard of it just in reference to aliens.
Look at you. It's awesome.
Ooh, Danny.
Eddie says, how about Barry Bonds as the manager?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm surprised he's not some type of coach.
Could Barry Bonds get into the Hall of Fame as a coach?
Somebody said activate him for pinch hitting in September to restart his Hall of Fame clock.
Oh,
why not at this point?
Why not?
At least,
why not?
Like, he'd get ready.
Vicky Boone says Gary Brown died? No.
Did he?
No, that can't
Probably
be the case.
Heard about it.
No, that's not true. Vicky, if that is true, you better come correct on that, because I don't think that's true.
Right. I'm looking at it.
Well, guys, it's almost 1 a.m. here, and I got to work early. So.
Yeah. No, thanks for standing in for Danny.
Seriously, get out of here, kid.
Dan, I give you the reins, sir. Have fun.
All right, man. Tough act to follow. Let me see if I can do it.
Jay Hutch.
I'm sure you will.
In a whispered tone. Have a good night.
Hey guys, everyone, relax.
Oh,
remember
Relax.
It wouldn't be seriously. It wouldn't be a chat.
Wow.
Is there anybody more annoying than the guy who says relax? Like he's got more perspective than God. You know what I mean? Oh, guys, I know you're debating this back and forth, and I have nothing of substance to add. So let me just say, in my passive aggressive voice, could you guys just relax? Please just relax.
Hey, Larry, this guy, he's good, and that guy, he's good, right?
Gary Brown, the former Dallas Cowboy.
Stubblefield, Michael Carter. I mean, Carter was good, and Stubblefield. Come on, he's good. Get the fuck out of here. All right, Jay Hutch. We'll see you, bro.
Later, Jay Hutch.
You know what? I think nice shirt there, Jay Hutch. I like that one.
I think Spencer's to it. Relax, Larry. Relax.
I think that she's thinking about Gary Brown, the former Dallas Cowboys running back, because he did die this year.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well,
Hey,
who knows?
Man, you look like you got to put more weight on, big girl. Hey.
Someone says, where's Mike Schmidt? What? What's Mike Schmidt up to these days? We need Schmidt. Schmidt happens, signs back.
He's already in the Hall of Fame, unlike Barry. Somebody said the Giants should let Barry pinch hit this year, and so he can reset his Hall of Fame.
Did I ever tell you guys when I was a kid? Now it was like maybe 7th, 8th grade. I'd be listening to the radio at night, maybe a little KMBR, listen to Ralph. And before Ralph, there was Dave Newhouse.
Before Dave Newhouse, Oakland Tribune writer.
Way too nice to do sports radio. Way too nice.
Yeah, Dave Newhouse. And before that was
Dave Newhouse, was Ken
Scotty
Dito.
Sterling. Remember Scotty Sterling?
Yeah, I do know. The late Scotty Sterling. He was my friend.
Yeah,
he was a great friend. How about this? He was the host of Sports Phone 680, and he later became the general manager of the Sacramento Kings.
That's right.
How many people have that on their resume? But Ken Dito used to do Sports Phone, and people would call up with these crazy one-sided Dan Coccimilgio kind of trades, right? And they'd be like, hey, Ken, what do you think of this one? I got a trade for you. And he'd be like, oh, my God, I hate these trades. He hated the trades, hated when people would call up with trades. And the guy, if the Giants just trade Guy Soulars and Joe Patini to the Phillies for Schmidt.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. Dito would lose his S. What? Why the hell would the Phillies do that? What are you? They don't want Soulars. They don't want Patini. Oh, what are you talking about? And you just lose it. He would lose it. It was awesome radio, though. He'd just sit there and go. I just loved it. Dustin the Gale didn't. He says, didn't they give Gary Brown only like 3 major league at bats? He donates $1.99 for that. I don't know. Maybe you could look that up, Rye. Somebody says Guy Soulars. What's FTW?
For the win.
For the win. Okay. Then we got this from Gonzo. Larry, what aren't what?
Yep, I've got Gary Brown. Gary Brown, lifetime with the Giants. He is 3 for 7, and that's
wow.
It.
3 for 7.
What's Gonzo trying to say there? What aren't 2 TV news sportscasters in the Bay of all time?
Oh, maybe what are the top TV news sportscasters in the Bay of all time? With
Wayne Walker,
Radnich, maybe.
Radnich, Ibanez.
Gary Park was a
Martin Wyatt. Martin Wyatt was cool.
Yeah. Gary Park.
Wayne Walker. Wayne Walker. I would say Wayne Walker was number 1.
Yeah, Channel 5. Wayne
Then
Walker.
G-Rad.
Great mustache, too.
Great linebacker.
Oh, yeah. Detroit Lions.
Oh, Len from the top rope. Happy birthday, Dan. Let's have a complete B-Day cake demo.
Oh, man. I've had enough cake. I'm all stuffed up.
Ooh, Casey Schmidt, 4 hits tonight. Let's get him up
here.
Did he?
Oh, in Richmond. Wait a second. That's double A.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, 4 hits.
What the? Hey. August 19th, 2022. The Giants have a legit player at double A. Oh, my God. Where were you?
You know how we were talking about
I'm
high
going to
school?
remember for the rest of my life where I was when I saw this.
Remember how we've been talking about getting a high school hitter? That Grant McCreary, he's got 20 homers.
That's an A-ball.
35 steals. Yeah, but at least he's
A-ball, Danny.
But he's out of high school
A-ball.
just a year. Coming up. He's coming
A-ball.
up. Yeah, but he's a high school hitter.
A-ball.
But
A-ball. Double A, Casey Schmidt. Oh, I remember where I was. It was a summer night. I was sitting in Walnut Creek. I was sweating. I was doing the Krueg show. It was Danny's birthday. He was taking a swig of water. He had just gotten a new haircut. He was impressed. He had impressed the shit out of those ladies at the HOA. It was the next day. The Giants had a guy in double A with 4 hits. I remember I was there. Oh, Casey Schmidt.
A bunt and 3 infield singles. Yeah.
DJ Venus. I love Grant Napier. His rants are hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta love Grant.
When was the last time that the Giants had a player that had 4 hits this season?
In double A?
Or just on the big league club?
I don't even know if it's happened this year.
I'm sure it has.
GM, I'm so tired. I thought Larry was Gary. All right.
Wow.
That is tired. That's very tired.
That is kind of legendary.
Just out of the blue, Ricky Leday. That's it. Just out of the blue, Ricky Leday. Maybe the worst Giant of all time. They traded for him, and he sucked so bad that they had to get rid of him.
That would be pretty sweet if you just.
Did we have a donation that I just jumped over?
Yeah. Dustin the Gale's right. That'd be pretty cool, even if you didn't make it in the big leagues. Just to say that you had a 429 batting average.
Wasn't he in that trade for the to the Padres, Gary Brown?
No. Not one that I remember.
What was that trade?
Danker says Dennis Richmond wins every list. But yeah, Dennis Richmond didn't do sports. The question was sportscaster, wasn't it? Or was it TV? I mean, there's Dan Ashley. There's Dave McElhatton.
Remember Van Amberg?
Van Amberg. It's a great name. Van Amberg.
This is Van.
I'll tell you, who was my favorite? I swear to you, I started talking to this guy when I went to KGO, and he became my favorite go-to guy, and he didn't talk sports at all. Pete Wilson.
Oh, yeah, the ex-governor.
No, not the ex-governor. This is different Pete Wilson. This guy was unbelievably smart. Unbelievably smart. He was from Wisconsin.
He's smart. He couldn't have been governor then.
He was incredible. He was great. He was absolutely a giant in every way possible. Giant intellect, giant personality, smart as hell. Unbelievable. He had a great show, great radio show, smart, great guy. He died, I believe, having hip surgery.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Very sad.
Oh,
Very
that's
sad.
horrible.
Pete Wilson, just an incredible man and an incredible talent. I do know Pete Giddings, or I did know him. I haven't seen him in a long time. But yeah, I knew Pete Giddings. He did weather on 7 for years and years and years. I'll tell you, who's a buddy of mine, who's a Facebook buddy of mine, and we go back and forth, and I think the world of him is Raj Mathai.
Raj Mathai.
Mathai, he's the man. I love Raj. Sat next to Raj during the Barry Bonds, chasing down Aaron, and Raj was spending a lot of time at the yard, and Raj is just very cool. Very cool. What a talented guy, too. He does the sports and the news. Just a really, really super talented guy. Really, really nice guy. Love Raj. Raj Mathai is the man. Love that guy. Dan Ashley, great guy. During 9/11, we had Dan Ashley on quite often to talk about, terrorism and all the, remember, it was difficult as hell to do sports radio during 9/11. Because,
holy crap.
It was hard. I mean, seriously, it was like, okay, hey, we're gonna be on for 2 weeks, and we're not going to talk any sports. I mean, think about that. Imagine if they said to you, okay, guys, you're going to be on for the next 2 weeks, but we're not going to actually talk any sports in those 2 weeks, and you're a sports talk show host. Good luck with that. You know what I mean? That's when you found out how good you were.
Yeah.
If you could stay on the radio and entertain an audience during the post-mortem and of the days and weeks after 9/11. And it was like we sat there with the producer, and I remember thinking to myself, what are we going to talk about? How are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? What exactly are we going to entertain the fans with? And why does anybody care about us right now? Well, isn't everybody on KGO or KCBS or news? And, people were like, hey, get creative, be creative. Go figure something out, but you're not talking sports. You're going to talk about something else. And so I got a hold of Dan Ashley, and I said, Dan, I don't know if you're listening to a lot of KMBR right now, but program director does not want us to talk sports for like 2 weeks. And he's like, yeah, I can understand. I understand, we all understood what America was going through, and just, we all needed to talk, but we needed to not talk about sports at the time. And so Dan came on, and he was so good the night I had him on. I'm like, Dan, will you come back tomorrow? He's like, Larry, I'll come back every night as long as you need me. I said, really?
Oh, wow.
And so we had Dan Ashley on for like every night for 2-3 weeks.
Wow.
And I just remember how not Rick Ashley, Gladstone Duck, not Rick Ashley, Dan Ashley.
What was Will Ferrell's character in Eastbound and Down? It was Ashley Schaefer. Ashley Schaefer BMW. That was great.
But yeah, so we had Danny on, and seriously, he would call up and we would talk about the headlines of the day, and we talk about how people are feeling and, how they're digesting the whole thing. And, how, it was a traumatic moment for America. So yeah, Dan, to me, he's one of the very, very best. He's been doing it a long time too. So.
I was in kindergarten when that happened, so I don't have any real memory of everything, all the goings on. But one of the really interesting things I did one time is on YouTube, I believe it's still there, is like the entire Howard Stern episode from 9/11. And it is, if any of you are out there like me that are on the younger side that, weren't really around for the coverage and didn't really know what it's like, that is a great time capsule, because it's scary, man. Like the way they're in New York, like they don't know whether they should leave. And it really is it really just shows, it does a good job of showing like how crazy things were.
What is it again?
it's Howard Stern's broadcast from September 11th, 2001.
Okay.
So it's like it started, and then like all of a sudden they got the news, and then it's like, oh, they didn't think it was, and then all of a sudden another one goes to,
I was living in Connecticut at the time, and
that's where New York style Italian sausage is made.
Yeah, it was pretty weird. But I was
comes from New York,
down in my basement, and I had an office down there, and I'm making phone calls to potential clients. Some guy says on the phone, he says, "What are you doing?" He says, "Don't you know what happened?" So I'm dialing people, and I'm like, "Hey, got your card? You want to, I can help save you some money on your taxes." This da da da. It's like, guy's like, "Don't you know what just happened?" And I said, "No." And he tells me a plane just went into the, to one of the Twin Towers. I said, "Oh," so I start watching the TV, and at the time my in-laws had been visiting from California. They had just flown out that day from up in Connecticut, but they went over the New York skyline, and the pilot says, "Oh, it's a beautiful day out. Take a look at the." They had just gone over that.
They called that kind of weather severe clear.
Yeah, and
which means not a cloud in the sky.
So they had to touch down in Nashville, and they couldn't get a flight for like 3-4 days. Father-in-law at the time had to get back to work, so he rented a car from Nashville, drove all the way Southern California. So that was a weird day. And then the first Monday night game back, because NFL took a week off, was the Jets and the Niners. The Niners were playing the Jets in the Meadowlands, and I had tickets. So my son and I went to the game, and that was when I think they had Garrison Hurst, and I think was it Garcia was quarterback in 01? Seems like it was.
It's a good question. I have to look that up.
But anyway, Niners played a great game, but the weirdest part of the whole evening was I kept looking up into the sky, thinking, you just didn't feel at ease. It was just a weird time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Otis Beast, I was listening to Gary the day of 9/11. He was on in the mornings at that time, yeah. Gladstone Duck says, where were Larry and Ryan that day? Well, Ryan just said he was a little kid. You were in kindergarten?
Class. Yep.
I was. I worked the nights at that time, so I had little babies, and I think it was. I remember somebody texted me or something. Hey, turn on the TV, and turned on the TV, and there was the burnt. The first tower smoking, and I remember just sitting there and it was just watching it. You couldn't take your eyes off the screen. It's like, what are we watching? This is, easily, it was obviously a tragedy and one of the most tragic days in the history of the country, but it was also like far and away the most compelling video I think any of us had ever seen. It was like, you could not turn away. You could not stop watching the building smoke and burn. And it was so surreal. And then of course, we're all thinking, well, maybe it was an accident. Maybe it was a small plane. Maybe the pilot was drunk. Maybe he fell asleep. Who knows? And then the second plane hit. And right then our whole world changed. Because when the second plane hit, everybody knew America was under attack. It was very serious. It was unprecedented. And then, it wasn't very long after that the Pentagon was hit and the whole deal. So it was kind
of weird. That was when Barry was chasing the record, and I was wondering if they were going to cancel the season.
It was an amazing time for sure. I can still remember the first game back. I think it was Giants Astros, and it was a night game. And Andres Galarraga was a Giant. And he hit the longest shot in the history of the park from a right-handed hitter. Absolutely crushed it. And did it hit the Coke bottle or one bounce to the Coke bottle?
I don't think it hit it. I think it came close, though.
It cleared the bleachers and left.
Yeah.
It cleared the bleachers in left center. Left center. It wasn't down the left field line.
Right.
It was left center over the bleachers, all of the bleachers. Humble season ticket salesman says first Giants came back from the 9/11 layoff. Colorado Coke bottle shot against the Astros. Yeah, I can remember it. It was a foggy night, and he just crushed. He just absolutely crushed.
Wasn't there a thought on that day, like, you know, this, like, for all we know, like, this could be, you know, a plane could be coming to LA or San Francisco.
Oh, they didn't know where things
nobody
were
knew.
going. Yeah.
Nobody knew. Everybody was worried about being on bridges, being in high rises, being on airplanes. What was the next target? You know, why, you know, then immediately the whole dialogue was, well, why do they hate us? You know, why do people hate us? And then it became this huge trying to understand where, you know, and to think this all stemmed back to the Russian invasion of Afghanistan. And like, you know, when I was like 9, and that was kind of the first chapter in the whole thing. And we just didn't have any idea at that point in history that was going to be such a pivotal moment in you know, U.S. relations with the Middle East. I mean, it was just an unbelievable. You know, I don't think anybody had any idea of what that really signified and meant back in the late 70s. So anyway, we're kind of going all over the place tonight, but you know, that was an amazing thing. I'll say this: I thought it was difficult to work through 9/11. It was probably more difficult to work through the combination of the pandemic and the social justice. You know, rioting and everything that went along with that. I would say that made 9/11 look like a picnic, you know.
Well, plus then there's no sports and
just, you know, so there's definitely, you know, it's definitely one of those things too that Romo 2001 says good knowledge on history, Larry. You know, occasionally I like to watch the
History Channel.
The History Channel, but like there's the documentary was how many parts is that documentary on Netflix on origins of 9/11?
I haven't seen it.
It's pretty damn good.
Yeah, there's a lot of good old documentaries. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's weird how, you know, there's these places like, you know, in history, it's like, obviously you don't go to Russia when the winter time's approaching. That's never worked. And Afghanistan's another one, and you know, just the Middle East in general. It's like, it's tough. It doesn't seem to work out.
So
Spider 80 says working through this Giant season's pretty bad too.
Yeah. So hey, speaking of the Giants, how was the comments in the beginning? Was it pretty? Was Robert Rothberg in and still positive, or
no? I think he at this point he's like, let's just show some like class and respect to Pelt and Crawford.
R squared is not. He's lost some of the belief. You know, don't stop believing. But I think he stopped believing.
Robert is already.
I think so. Man. I think so.
I'd say it's pretty safe. All right, you want to hit the ads and we'll come back with something a little funnier.
Yeah, we got some NFL stuff or something.
We're going to go bold predictions. Bold predictions on the NFL. We'll hit that coming up next on the Krueg Show.
Larry Krueger here for Telmetrics. Thanks to Casey Bateman and the good people at Telmetrics. If you're an occupational therapist, if you're an orthopedic surgeon, a chiropractor, a physical therapist of any kind, Telmetrics is designed for you to use in your practice and will greatly benefit your patients. Telmetrics uses computer vision and artificial intelligence and provides a platform for outpatient rehab therapy services, both in the clinical and the telehealth environments. So using Telmetrics can improve your patient's experience and much more. So for all your sports injury needs, or if you're a physical rehabilitation specialist of any kind, make sure you use telmetrics.co, TELMETRIX.co. And thanks to Casey Bateman and all the good people at Telmetrics for being a proud sponsor of the Krueg. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Dan Coccimilgio. Dan is a buddy, and he is a phenomenal retirement planning specialist. And you can contact him today at securemoney.com or it is number 925-628-9966. There's a lot of uncertainty in the world right now, and you want to make sure that your money is secure. That is the key. Danny's got 25 years of experience, born and raised right here in the Bay Area, and he can help you get an immediate 10% premium bonus on your principal retirement account. So give him a call, 925-628-9966. He'll make an appointment with you, and you can sit down. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of a deal. He'll consult with you and come up with a strategy to get you going to where you want to be. Once again, 925-628-9966, securemoney.com on the web. And thanks to Tony Cassera and the good people at Cassera's Italian Menswear. They are housing the Krueg Show t-shirts, and they're a proud sponsor of the show as well. The Krueg Show t-shirt, the Krueg Show podcast t-shirt is available there at their store in Dublin. Their address is 7372 San Ramon Road in Dublin, California. And go see Tony Cassera and get yourself a Krueg Show t-shirt and support the show. And special thanks to our sponsor, New York Style Italian Sausage. That's right, NewYorkStyleSausage.com is their website. Phenomenal product, whether it's the breakfast sausage, the Italian mild, the Italian spicy, the chorizo. You cannot go wrong with New York Style Italian Sausage. Once again, NewYorkStyleSausage.com. Often imitated, never equaled.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner. That means no matter how busy you were, no matter where the hell you were, you came to dinner on a Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday dinner without sausage, it's like a church without God. You know, how can you go to church if you don't believe in God? You know, and along with the sausage also became the discussions. That was discussion night. You know, it wasn't a typical family that you sit there and you're quiet, you know, and you don't talk with a mouthful. Oh, no, man. Italians talk when they're eating. Italians even talk when they're sleeping. And definitely we talk with our hands. So if we can't express it through our mouth, through our lips, we express it with our hands. So, and that's what sausage is, really. It's an expression, you know, that life is good.
So New York Style Sausage was started over 70 years ago. We are the largest producer of fresh Italian sausage on the West Coast.
What makes our sausage in New York style is really the recipe came from back east, from New York, you know, from Connecticut.
If you look at all of our labels, there's maximum 4 or 5 ingredients, which we're really proud of.
There's no preservatives, no MSG, fresh in, fresh out.
The pork comes in fresh, goes out fresh. There's never any freezing throughout the process. We've always used fine quality cuts. We're never going to deter from that. It's one of the reasons why our sausage is so good. I guarantee you put our sausage up against anybody else's from a flavor standpoint, no one will beat it, hands down.
Hey, do yourself a favor and do me a favor. Go buy a package of the New York Style Italian sausage. Guaranteed you will love it. Guaranteed.
All right, welcome back to the Krueg Show. Larry Krueger, Ryan Smith, Dan Coccimilgio. Haha donates $5. It says, Ryan, when I was a student in elementary school in the 80s, we used to have to get under our desk and practice hiding from a nuclear explosion.
Ah, wow. That's pretty wild, Clinton Dix there.
I remember that as well, but looking back at it, that wasn't going to do a whole lot of good.
Is this Mr. Clinton Dick's dad?
Clinton Dix?
Yeah. Is this his dad?
Right. You see that? Says that when he was a kid in the 80s, we all used to get under our desks and practice hiding from a nuclear war.
Yeah, just put
makes a
fear
little
in the
more
crap
sense
of
with
it.
earthquakes.
Just put, freak your kids out. It's like little 7-year-old Johnny. Hey, get into the desk, man. We might have a nuclear bomb or we all just melt. Jeez. like a nuclear, really think about it. Under the desk for a nuclear bomb's going to stop it.
Yeah, you know what? I was going to be vaporized, but I was under a desk, and that helped me not be vaporized. All right, the things that we do.
Hey,
but
speaking of real quick on baseball, just say something
now than
real
ever
quick.
before. Go ahead, Danny.
Padres have given the Giants every chance to get back into this race. They lost
lose
tonight.
again?
Yeah, they lost to the Nats 6-3, and Hader gave up 3 runs in the 9th. Man, how bad has Hader been recently? It's like
don't be a hater on Hader.
Yeah, but I mean, gosh, could the Padres actually be as bad as the Giants in futility and blow this thing? I mean, how ironic would that be if the Giants pulled off a 2010? Because they play the Padres the final 3 in San Diego. How bad would that be? I mean, they're still only 5.5 back, as rotten as the Giants are. I mean,
I know, but they blew their chance. They blew their chance. They needed to win 2 out of the last 3, and they blew it.
They did, but they're just you know what they'll do? They'll tease us once more, and they'll win 5 in a row, and then they'll go lose 3 or 4 in a row. Yep. That's what they do. Now they're back under 500.
Instead of believing, it's better just to not believe.
Oh, I don't believe at all. I just that's why I don't even get upset anymore. I actually the only thing I'm ticked off is I bet on them the last 2 games against Arizona, and I should.
Dan.
I bet that they would win, and they lost.
Danny just said he doesn't get upset anymore, and then he just immediately described a situation where he was upset.
Well,
I don't get upset anymore.
I was upset that I actually believed. I was actually kind of believed, like, oh, they're going to win. They got Rodon, they got Webb, know, and then they go and lose both. So I'm like, why don't I just learn? Just keep betting on them to lose and hope they win.
I can't even play the Journey song "Don't Stop Believing" because people have stopped believing. You know what I mean?
Don't stop not believing.
Yeah, it's like.
But I do win every time I bet against that there'll be no score in the first inning. That's been my favorite bet because the Giants never score in the first inning, and they usually don't give up any runs.
Seriously,
Dan, we're betting against them again tomorrow, right? Like,
yeah, I'll be betting against them.
The market has not caught up to the fact that the Giants are dead.
No, I'm going to bet against them every game, and if they win and they make the playoffs, I'll be thrilled. I'll say, "Oh, that was good, lost money." But if they keep losing, dang it, they're going to make me some money.
Nobody can shut down any kind of entertainment value like the Giants. No, you know what? We won't score, but they won't either. All right, and you'll see nothing and like it for a $36.50 crab sandwich and $60 to park. Ugh. There will be no action. There will be no scoring.
Yeah, geez. Yeah, it's
seriously.
Pathetic. I mean,
hey, we got the Niners tomorrow. Niners Vikings. We'll be there. We'll be doing our thing.
Hey, did you guys hear Ayuk's comments about the practice?
How he said he gets nothing out of the practice.
And then Fred Warner.
It's a useless pile of nothing.
And then did you hear Fred Warner says, "Yeah, we kind of knocked him around. We're physical that way." It was kind of like they were just. I mean, it's a good thing
they're D-dominated.
Probably a good thing the Vikings aren't on their schedule this year because it'll be all over their bulletin board.
Yeah,
Vikings will get up for one game.
Trash.
They'll get up for 3 games, the 2 against the Packers and 1 against the Niners.
Hey, there's a bold prediction.
Let's do this. Yeah, let's do this. We're 2 hours and 17 minutes into our live stream. It is 11:22 out here on the West Coast. Dan probably doesn't have an HOA meeting for hours now, so he's got plenty.
I'm good till September.
Oh, really?
Yeah, once a month.
Yeah. Oh, that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, I look forward to the next one. Can't wait.
Yeah. Do you guys ever get together like in between meetings to talk about to reminisce?
Oh yeah, gee. Yeah.
Hey ladies, how you guys doing? Dan Coccimilgio here. I'm just attending the meeting so you guys don't rip us all off. Thank you.
The one lady that scorched everybody in the email, she didn't show up to the meeting.
Of course.
Yeah.
Some poison pen ass.
Yeah, see, I was
Some
ready
gutless poison pen.
I went in there ready to just let her have it. If she said something, I was just gonna just rip her a new one. See, I was gonna just like, why don't you get a life, man? Get a life. Is this your life? What you live for? This stupid crap and this little.
It'd be a great, a great special. Like discontent at La Boca Vista.
Oh,
Del Boca Vista.
Jaguayo.
Jaguayo 56 donates $2. Sorry, came late. Internet went out. Couldn't miss. Ah, man.
All right, down the home stretch. Here you come. It's Jaguayo 56 on the inside.
MF Darren Chan coming on the Krueg show. DC. Man, I love DC. Haven't hung out with DC since Hawaii.
Are we allowed to have two
Look at
DCs
MF,
on
man.
the show?
MF is the biggest name dropper we have.
He knows everybody. He
Yeah,
wants
hey,
Tim
is,
Ryan. He wants
Tim Ryan,
wants
Ned. He wants
Ned. He wants it all. He wants it all.
So what are we doing? We're doing bold predictions.
Bold
like 2 or
predictions
3
on the
bold
NFL.
predictions?
All right, I'm gonna make a bold prediction.
Speaking of real quick here before
Yes.
bold prediction, Survivor League. There was some talk about some Survivor League.
Yeah.
After the
Survivor
air,
pool.
Yeah, I'm in one, and my nephew runs one. So,
I'm in a couple.
It's a good
I
one.
almost won it last year.
I did 2 years. I didn't play last year, but 2 years ago I took.
It's kind of easy. All you got to do is find one winner every week.
Yeah, it's tough though because you can't reuse them, and you got to find.
I know.
One that. Did
Dustin
Dan take
Gale
shirt off
donates
in the
$1.99. Did Danny take his shirt off during the meeting? No.
I may. Look
That would have
like
been
I'm
awesome,
crazy,
though.
but
What do you think the reaction would have been if you had?
I think one of them probably would have went woohoo, and then the others would have been like,
Because it's hot in Arizona. Could you just get away with that? Could you be like, it's hot. It's just hot.
Yeah. You ladies are making me toasty.
So my kid walks around sometimes with no shirt on, right? He's just I'm like, what are you? I start calling him Mowgli. You know what I mean? Because he's like a character from a movie. So I'm like, so then my other teenager's walking around with no shirt on.
Shows you own the place.
The other night at dinner, we're sitting down and they both had no shirt on.
oh, what'd you do? I got to tell you a story. What'd you say?
I took my shirt off. I'm like, what is this? No shirt? And then they start laughing because they're like,
oh, you cool dad. I had to. My brother came
taking
to
his shirt off.
My brother came to Steve. He came to. He was like 12, 13. Comes to the dinner table with no shirt on. And my dad, he was a disciplinarian. He's like, he got all ticked. This ain't no damn barnyard. And he made him go sit on the garage and eat his dinner.
All right, let's go bold predictions on the NFL. Who wants to go first? Does anybody have one they want to throw out there?
I'll start since we're talking about the Vikings. Vikings win the North.
Vikings win the North.
I think Vikings win the North.
Are these like asinine predictions or bold?
Bold. Either way.
So you basically Green Bay is the overwhelming favorite. You don't believe in Green Bay?
No, I don't believe in Green Bay. And Rodgers always needs. I mean, their defense is great, but they're historically he needs time. Even Devontae Adams and him didn't gel the first couple of years. He needs time to grow with his weapons. And I mean, we saw it last year in the freaking championship game. Lazard was wide open, and he still threw into double coverage to Devontae. So no, I think that Green Bay. I love the idea of Minnesota having moving away from the kind of the more run heavy offense to a more pass heavy offense. And I think Jefferson's going to be freaking awesome this year in fantasy, and I think the Vikings are going to win the division.
Okay, I'm going to go with a bold prediction. The world champion LA Rams will miss the playoffs. They're top heavy. Their quarterback's hurt. You look at their roster; all their backups stink. They're too top heavy. They're so top heavy that one or two injuries will totally derail them. Stafford's got the bum arm, elbow, whatever it is. The Rams are going to miss the playoffs. They're not making the playoffs in the NFC.
Wow.
That's my bold prediction.
All right, let me go with the bold prediction and something like that. Kansas City will be either not make the playoffs or will finish third in the AFC West.
Who wins the AFC West?
I think it's going to be the Chargers.
You think they've dusted off that Sandy? I mean, all indications talent.
They got a lot of talent.
Would be, but I actually wouldn't be surprised. Here's another bold
Denver
prediction.
could too.
Here's a bold prediction. Here's a bold prediction. I think that Justin Herbert might regress this year. I think all indications are that he's going to continue ascending. He was phenomenal last year, but usually there is at some point, usually after there's a breakout, there usually is a bit of a dip the following year.
Didn't happen with Josh Allen though.
Didn't happen with Josh Allen. True. Well, he's completely unique. I think the Lions have a shot at fighting for a playoff spot, and that's not just the Hard Knocks talking. I think they did tons to improve both their lines, and that's the most important thing. And I love Dan Campbell, and they lost a bunch of really close games next year, which is a good indicator.
Okay.
Here's a bold prediction.
Go ahead.
Jacksonville wins 8 games this year.
Oh, Danny, can I book that one?
Just gonna go crazy. Just go wild. Easier schedule.
I don't think Trevor Lawrence is good.
They have Travis Etienne now.
I think he's going to be good.
They did sign a bunch of players.
You writing these down, Rye?
I'm not, but I will.
Okay. I mean, that just came out of nowhere. I don't know why. I don't think they'll make they're not going to make the playoffs, but
yeah, look decent.
8 and 9, 8 and 9. They'll close. They'll close with 2 or 3 wins. They'll be like 6 and 9, and then they'll win the last couple. Be like the 49ers in 2017 when they won their last 5.
Yeah, with Jim.
I'm going to go Trey Lance wins the MVP.
Wow, that's a good one.
Good
pick, Lair. Good pick.
Thank you.
I like that. I was going to
Trey Lance wins the MVP.
All right. What about
got a lot of weapons?
What do you think about the Bucks not winning their division? Because now Tristan Wirfs is out.
Where's Brady? He's been gone for 10 days.
Brady's been gone. Ryan Jensen's out for the year. Brady, all indications were that he was in talks with the Niners and the Dolphins. They have a new, I think maybe they benefit from getting rid of coach. What's their coach's name? Old
Bruce?
Cardinals guy. Bruce Arians. Okay, I think maybe they benefit from that. But also, where are his weapons? Chris Godwin's hurt. And no Antonio Brown. They've got an old Julio Jones. Gronk's retired. The NFC is not very strong at the top, and it's hard because the next thing you got to say is who would overtake them. I kind of like the Saints this year. Yeah, I kind of like the Saints.
Really?
Because they told us through their draft. Yeah, they told us through their draft they think they can win this year. They took receivers. They're getting Mike Thomas back. Kamara's out for a few games, but I like their defense. So there we go. There's some boldness. I think the Panthers and Falcons are going to both be equally trash, but
how about this? I got a bold prediction.
Okay.
It's kind of a complex prediction. The Browns trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. Garoppolo plays until Watson's suspension ends. Watson goes out for the year in his first game, and Jimmy leads the Browns to the AFC Championship.
Oh, that's wild.
You know what, Larry? I like what you're thinking, though, because if they got Jimmy, let's just say hypothetically they got Jimmy, and all of a sudden they're 8-3. And now Watson, who at least their entire female fan base is completely against, and they've got Jimmy G, and there's good vibes.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden,
Jimmy G, and then
all of a sudden is it? Oh, Deshaun Watson. He's battling a little bit of a hammy, because you know what? Deshaun Watson looked like absolute S in that first preseason.
Watson's got a hammy, goes to get a massage.
Yeah,
and
I got another one. Here. Mike McCarthy gets canned in Dallas, and Sean Payton doesn't make a full season in the booth before jumping back into coaching and coaches the Cowboys.
Oh, I like that one. I was just going to ask, who do you think the first coach to get canned is? because they
That's
usually
a good
don't
one.
get canned too much during the season. Sometimes. So you think McCarthy might be gone by like week 9?
I do think he's gone. I think Sean Payton goes there.
Interesting.
Oh my God! Wait, I'm running through the roster. Who else is apt to be fired?
I'll give you another one. Malik Willis takes over for Tannehill and
Tennessee?
shows that he is a great young quarterback.
Ooh. Another interesting one is like how long do you think until Ritter gets a shot? If you're Atlanta and you're just trash.
Well, he's going up against Mariota right now. I think Mariota beats him out, but yeah.
But at some point during the season, it's going to be like, well, the season's over. Let's wait. How about also Bears? Maybe Bears to have the worst record in the league, I think is a good one. I don't know if that's necessarily a long shot.
Who's the first team to not lose a game?
Oh, last one standing?
Last one standing. And who's the last one to win a game?
Wait.
Who's
you mean the okay, I got you.
which team goes undefeated the longest, and which team
schedules
takes the longest to win? Yeah, without looking at the schedules, it's kind of hard. I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to go with the Niners. I'm going to pick the Niners to go like 5-6-0. Get their toughest test, I think, is Denver. Week 3, maybe week 4 in Denver.
I got one too. I got another one for you.
And
you have an undefeated
last team to win a game is going to be I'm going to say that's
last
tough.
team to win a game.
I'll say
I'll say last team to lose, but last team to be undefeated. I'm going Ravens. They only have one real giant challenge. They got the Bills week 4. I think they pulled that one out at home, and then they don't have another really super tough game. I guess you could say, well, Browns without Jimmy G. Maybe the Bucks like week 8, week 9.
I think the Bears are the last.
I was thinking the Bears. Yeah, I was looking at the Bears too, but that's kind of the obvious one. So I'm going to go with Atlanta.
Okay. I'll give you one. Nick Bosa leads the NFC in sacks.
Yes.
Joey Bosa leads the AFC in sacks.
Oh, with Khalil Mack on the other side.
And Bosa.
Hey, here's a bold prediction. This is the first year where Nick Bosa is going to tear it up so much that they start mistakenly calling Joey Nick Bosa as opposed to the other way around.
Last team to win a game, you're San Francisco Giants.
Dustin the Gale. I think Larry mentioned a while back on KMBR that no NFL team who loses their season opener has gone on to win the Super Bowl. Relevant stat for September. Is that? Is that true?
I don't know if that's true. If I said it,
that seems remarkable. I'm extremely dubious.
What else?
I'm going to say that the 49ers, who haven't had really anybody with 1,000-yard receiving for a wide receiver for quite a while, that they have 2 this year. They're going to have 2 receivers over 1,000 yards receiving, and maybe 3,
including Kittle.
No, 2 wideouts, and maybe Kittle. So let's go real bold. Let's say they have 3 guys with 1,000 yards, which is really hard to do because that's spreading it around. But I think this offense is going to explode second half of the season.
I've got a question for. I think Larry would love this one. What would you say if you had to say there was one rookie wide receiver that not one of the top guys, because those guys are actually going to get drafted in fantasy. So a receiver that will in most leagues probably will not be drafted, a rookie wide receiver that ends up exploding and exploding on the scene.
Romeo Doubs.
I think Danny Gray.
Dobbs.
Danny
Danny
Gray.
Gray's
I don't
gonna
think
be-
Danny Gray is going to get drafted in fantasy.
Yeah,
I'll say this. I think Sauce Gardner winds up leading the NFL in picks.
Oh, I love that.
Ooh, some sauce there.
Some sauce. I like Alec Pierce to come out of nowhere and just be a stud for the Colts.
Hmm.
You know who I'm going to say who gets over 5? No, I'm going to go even higher. This is real bold. 7 picks or more. Because remember, Diggs was a rookie, had what, 12? What did he have? He had like 12. Who's going to have 7 this year as a rookie from the slot corner? Or Womack. Samuel Womack's going to have 7
picks.
Yeah, I'm just going to go bold. I mean, I think it's great. I'm just
really
going
buying into that first preseason game.
I don't know if the Niners most years don't even, they have about 7 picks as a team.
Hey, I remember that 81 defensive backfield, man, with 3 rookies. They were just all over it. Ronnie Lott was a safety at USC, and they stick him at corner, and he's an all-pro corner his rookie year. I was shocked because I knew he was the best safety. Him and Kenny Easley came out the same year. UCLA, USC, they were the best in the country. My brother, the one that owns the Yogurt Shack, was all Pac-10 defensive backfield with Ronnie Lott, Kenny Easley, Mark Lee of Washington, and my brother Ron.
Wow.
Yeah, I was. And one other one that was in there because they picked several. Dennis Smith, who went to the Broncos, he was SC. The starting safeties for SC were Dennis Smith and Ronnie Lott. I mean, what is that?
That's crazy.
That is
crazy. How about this? Tyreek Hill will help make Tua a good NFL quarterback, and without Tyreek Hill, Mahomes takes a gigantic step backwards.
That's kind of why I picked him not to make the playoffs.
I love that one, Larry.
Yeah, that was my thinking.
Did you see Mike McDaniel say that Tua throws the most catchable ball he's ever seen?
It's pretty accurate. I just think that
Tua's
ready to play better.
Larry, are you a member of TuaNon? Are you a Tua truther?
No.
I
don't believe in Tua really for the most part, but I think Tyreek Hill's that good.
He's so damn good.
What do you think of you just mentioned his name. I just drew a blank.
Tyreek Hill?
No, the head coach, Mike McDaniel. What do you think? How do you think he'll do there in Miami?
I think he'll do really well.
I like him. I think they've got a lot of weapons. They got a lot of speed. He's very creative. I'll say this too. I really believe that Aaron Rodgers will show by the end of the year that he was the key to Devontae Adams and not the other way around. Devontae will go to the Raiders. He won't have near the impact, and Rodgers will keep rolling with Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs and the receivers he's got. Despite the fact that everybody
has he been hurt all year.
Well, all year they put one preseason game.
Yeah, but I mean all spring training. I mean, has he been?
Yeah, he's been dinged up.
Practice?
He's been dinged up.
Okay, because I haven't heard much from him. Yeah.
I think he's going to be terrific this year. I think Watson is going to be terrific. I think Doubs is going to be terrific. I think Rodgers is not going to miss a beat, and I think Devontae is going to backslide.
Did you hear Rodgers' comments the other day about
about his receivers? Yeah,
and all the mistakes they're making and dropping balls and same guys. He didn't name names, but yeah, but he didn't sound like he was. He said, "We'll get it worked out." No,
I wouldn't trust. I wouldn't take Alan Lazard too high in fantasy. I feel like one of Doubs or Watson really emerges at some point, right?
Do they pronounce it Dobbs or Dubs?
Dobbs.
Dobbs. That's what I thought. Yeah, he looks like pretty good, and Green Bay's always finding guys, always finding receivers.
Yeah.
How about this? I'll go as far as to say that Aiden Hutchinson will have double the sacks of Trayvon Walker, who went in front of him.
So if he gets 6, and the other will get 3. How many do you think Hutch? You think he'll get double-digit sacks?
I think he'll get 8 or 9, and the other guy will get like 4.
Yeah, that's probably pretty accurate.
Walker, was he from Georgia? He come from Georgia. Yeah, yeah. That was an interesting first pick by Jacksonville. why they didn't go Aiden Hutchinson. You know, I don't know.
What do you think about another sleeper in fantasy that I'm seeing? I don't really know much about him, but Larry, I'm thinking probably have an opinion. Isaiah Pacheco. If
Chiefs,
because Edwards-Helaire, he's a hell of a freaking runner in college, but I just don't. They really have given him the opportunity, and it just he just doesn't look like the guy for that offense. So
I'll give you another one that I like. Seahawks go over the Vegas total.
Yeah.
What is their total? 7.5?
No, I think it's like 5.
Really?
Yeah.
Things would get weird if Jimmy G went there, for sure.
I do find it easy to root for the Lions right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I feel like they're building the team the right way, building through the lines. I'm a Lions fan for this year, man. Detroit deserves it. Mark Graves says Nick Bosa for MVP. I think Nick Bosa for Defensive Player of the Year. I don't feel like that's just a homer take. I feel like that is great value. I think those odds are gonna go way down about halfway through the year.
I'm looking at.
I'll make one other. Kenny Pickett takes the job away from Trubisky in Pittsburgh.
Do you think he wins Offensive Rookie of the Year?
No,
it is.
No, I think that goes to Kenneth Walker in Seattle.
Did you see he got a little procedure done? He'll be back by week 1 probably, but Kenneth Walker.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Trying to think, who do you think will lead the league in passing this year? Last year was Brady, 5,300.
Cousins.
Josh Allen.
Cousins was 9th, 42-21.
I'm giving out Cousins. There you go. That's probably some crazy odds. He
Really?
won't get hurt.
Well, they're going to probably be behind.
They're
going to
pass it a bunch.
Huh?
I think they're going to. Yeah, they're.
Who's your NFL rushing leader?
I'm going to go with. Oh gosh. I'd like to see.
I'm going Jonathan Taylor.
I love Najee Harris. It'd be great to see him up there.
It would. I don't know. I haven't paid much attention to the minutia around the league. Did the Steelers improve their offensive line in free agency at all? Because that's the only thing holding back Najee.
It's hard to run though when you can't throw very well, and I don't know how well Pittsburgh can throw with Trubisky, and if they stack the box, it may stuff Pittsburgh's running game a little bit more. You're picking.
I like Dalvin Cook.
I was going to say Cook, but you can't have Cook. You can't have the leading rusher and the leading passer.
Hey, I've got them winning the division.
I know you got that. You're picking. You might as well pick Minnesota just to go to the bowl at this point, right?
Who has the best record in the NFL this year?
Ravens.
Really?
I picked the Niners 13-4, Larry, and I'm going to stick with it when our little game by game we did a couple months ago. And the more I'm seeing this defense, and the more I see the tools that they have on offense, and I think Trey may be. I don't worry about practice stuff because I see just getting your reps, learning. When you get in constant reps and the defense is doing things, that speed of the backers and the improved secondary, that's putting a lot of pressure on Trey. And I think the field is going to look so much bigger. It's going to slow down in the game for him. I really believe that he's going to be a guy that hits a lot of short passes. It's going to open up the long game. And Kyle's going to scheme that thing so well this year because he's going to be able to do so much more that he's been held back with Jimmy. And I think Kyle's just like foaming at the mouth to get at it. I really do. I think
I'm going Buffalo. I think Buffalo goes 15-2.
15-2.
15-2.
But the thing about Buffalo is it almost seems like, because it feels like everybody's on them and everybody's on Josh Allen to win MVP, but I do feel like Josh Allen is going to win MVP. I think the Buffalo is so damn good.
Buffalo added Von Miller. That's going to help. Josh Allen's elite. He's got Diggs. He's got Gabe Davis, Jamison Crowder, Isaiah McKenzie.
James Cook.
They've got some good players. James Cook.
Back.
Yeah, they got a guy they can dump it off to.
Yeah.
Hey, well, last year I did right. Debo did get over 1,000 last year. Right? He had 1,400.
Very
yards.
early in the season, and then it was then it all went rushing, right?
Who wins the MVP?
Ooh,
Rodgers, third year in a row.
Nah,
I
like either Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. The tough thing about Jackson is it's hard to win an MVP that close to another MVP. But
Rodgers did it 2 in a row.
That's true. But last year there was kind of like nobody really emerged. So
it was Brady. It was between Brady last year and Rodgers.
Exactly.
Really.
So we're sick of them both. So I
think one receiver in college in NFL, I'm going to say is Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I like Jefferson.
I'm going to go with a breakout receiver,
Rashad Bateman.
No, I'm being a little bit of a homer here, but
Danny Gray.
I think Ayuk's going to have a big year. I think him and Trey. I think Ayuk is going to get 90+ receptions this year.
Okay, it's interesting.
I think he's going to be a go-to guy because Trey worked with him all off season, and when you do that, when there's a chemistry that gets built, and you naturally look for that guy. And I think Ayuk's just stepping up. I think Ayuk's coming off, learned a lot last year from kind of getting benched, and he knows what he's got to do. And I think he took it upon himself in the off season to get with Trey and work out with Trey. And he came in great shape, and he's hustling now. And I think he's got great hands, and he's not only he can be a deep threat, but he's also a route runner. And
who is the one team in the NFL this year that goes worst to first?
Wait, you know what? Let me switch my pick on the previous one. Give me Mike Evans because all the receivers are injured. Okay, now the one team that goes
worst.
Here are the worst teams. Here are the worst teams last year in the NFL. Jets, Browns, and Ravens tied in the North. Jacksonville, Denver, New York Giants, Detroit Lions, Carolina Panthers, Seattle Seahawks. Which team's going from worst to first?
When you say first in their
division.
I mean, I got to go with I feel like it's a little disingenuous, but I got to go with the Ravens. Just, I got them as the best record.
Were they fourth? You said they were fourth last
were
year?
Technically tied for fourth, yeah.
Well, that's kind of an easy one.
Okay, I'll go. I mean, that and Denver are the two easy ones.
Yeah, I mean, those both have legitimate shots.
I'll go Browns with Jimmy G.
Yeah. I mean, if they get Jimmy G, that team's going to be pretty freaking good.
Yeah, what's going on with that? There's some people that keep saying, I mean, I keep hearing
some people. I've seen bold predictions. Some people saying that the Niners are not going to trade him at all, but that doesn't make any sense.
That'd be worse than Ayuk.
They got to pay Bosa. They got to pay all these guys,
but not till next year.
Right, but they can't pay Jimmy. You can roll over some of your cap.
I mean, you know what? Tomorrow's going to be a big day, just in terms of are any starters really even playing?
When's the next?
I would imagine there's going to be 25 guys who aren't playing tomorrow.
When's the next cut? They got to go down from 85.
Coming up in a few days.
They have to go to what, from 85 to
80.
60?
No, I think they cut down. Don't they have one small cut and then another big cut? Maybe it's 10. Maybe it's 10. Maybe they go to 70.
Yeah, I think the last one's like 25 or something, 20 or something.
53.
Yeah, it gets down to 53, but I think there's I think it's like 20 plus that get cut the last week.
What do you guys think we should wrap? I'm having fun talking NFL, but we are close to 3 hours.
Yeah.
On Danny's birthday.
Let's call it a night. Tomorrow, for those of you who want to catch us, we'll be on after 49ers. We'll do a little 49er deal tomorrow night. You want to do a little 49er live stream?
Yeah.
Sure.
Giants play in the daytime. Niners play at 4. So right around 7.
No, Giants play at 5:10.
Oh, 5:10? I thought it was 4.
At 5:10.
Oh, Niners play at 4. I thought the Giants played in the daytime. No, you sure about that?
Yeah, looking right at it, 5:10.
Okay, so so right about the same time. We'll come on after the Niner game is over, probably right around 7:30-ish. We'll do a little combo, post Niners, post Giants, and we'll chop it up tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit about whatever we see.
Who gets to start tomorrow?
Maybe Jimmy gets dealt tomorrow. What's that?
Who gets to start tomorrow is it Sudfeld or is it Purdy? Who's going tomorrow?
That's a good question. I would imagine Sudfeld.
Sudfeld, yeah.
Are they going to split the halves, you think? You think they'll each will play a half? And
yeah, I think that sounds about right. First half Sudfeld, second half Purdy. I like Purdy.
Yeah,
I think Purdy looks
liked
good
Purdy
to me.
last week. Yeah, I thought he looked really good first game. And it'll be interesting to see what happens because they've got decisions to make, and guys,
Anonymous says Cobb.
Cobb
is starting tomorrow.
Which Cobb?
DJ Venus says, thanks, guys. Larry, you're the man.
Okay.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that, DJ.
Got my brain going on football.
All right, guys. Good stuff. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks to all the sponsors. Thanks to Danny. Thanks to Ryan. Hope everybody has a phenomenal.
I've got one more. I've got a video to play at the end also.
Okay, go ahead.
The roof directly above the hole is on page 2 and is the top picture. This is why the hole was generated, because the roof is bad.
So just so everyone has a little bit of history here, I know I've talked to a couple of you before the meeting, but this.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you gon' get exactly what you asked for. Here for whatever you bring me, getting handled. I answer to no one, I don't need to hassle. Yeah, we ain't never fall back.